What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Facemask Fantasy. We are through week 2, and there's a lot to get through. Lots of injuries to talk shop on. We, of course, have waivers today. Joined by Will. He's Willie the Pooh in the Discord channel. If you are a part of the Facemask Discord channel, so hopping on today, talking shop. So Will, thanks for joining me. Appreciate your should be a good conversation today and a lot to get through.
Absolutely, thanks for having me, especially after such an eventful evening.
It was an eventful evening. I'm sure this will be noticed, but I am suffering from a punishment right now as a result of a lost bet. Those of you who know me know that I am an Eagles fan. For those who are likely unfamiliar, Will is the neighborhood Falcons fan, one of only like 7 or 8 in existence. We had a straight up bet as far as who would win the game last night.
Loser wore the other team's jersey.
Right, and the loser has to wear the other team's jersey from the other team. So here we are. The Eagles lost in epic fashion last night. So now I have to rep this monstrosity for the duration of the stream. But a bet is a bet. Lost it fair and square. Falcons pulled out a big win last night on the final drive of the game, and completely changed the course of where that game looked like it was going for, at least for that final frame, for that final quarter. So
much so
to the Falcons.
We were talking about what jersey I would be wearing.
I was prepared. I was like, oh, I got one that's all stained, and it's definitely, it's been around the block a few times, and it's one of those that I don't care about as much anymore. I was like, I'm gonna whip that out of the back of the closet, and you're gonna wear that, and it's gonna look great. But it wasn't meant to be. The Eagles collapsed in the fourth quarter there last night. So here we are with this nonsense. And I wish I could. I wish the results were different, but they are not. So congrats to the Falcons. The Eagles collapsed. We're gonna keep it moving. Lots to get through today, like I mentioned, and I see some folks coming into the stream. So welcome to everybody. A special shout out to all of my members who will join or may join at some point. Just to rehash, as I typically do, if you are a member of the channel, like Fortune, what's going on, Fortune? Good to see you, man. Your questions, comments, whatever have you, will be prioritized in the order that I see them. And then I will get to everybody else. We will get to everybody else's questions. So I always just ask that you guys sit tight if there are member questions that are still outstanding. So we will get to those. That is a perk of being a member of the channel during the live streams. You will get your questions or comments addressed in priority order. But I will get to everybody else. We will get to everybody else as those questions come up. As a friendly reminder, generally speaking, we're talking the fallout of the previous week. And, of course, waivers have not yet run for, I can only assume, 100% of leagues. It would be kind of insane to run waivers on a Monday night. But vast majority run Tuesday night, so we'll get through waivers. Start-sit questions will be put on hold, and I am happy to repeat myself if I must over the course of the stream as folks trickle in and come and go. Start-sit questions, it's just too premature at this point in the week. We don't have practice reports for any day thus far this week, so we need to get through those to sort out start-sit questions. I always encourage folks, if you have guys in the Thursday night game, come back Thursday for the Thursday stream, but otherwise for the Sunday and Monday slate, we're going to wait on start-sit questions until closer to the weekend when we've got way more clarity based on practice reports, injury status, things of that nature. That'll help us sort out the start-sit questions much closer to kickoff. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you, man. Hopefully everybody had some solid results this weekend that all resulted in wins. Can't win them all, but we hope that we can. Let's get into the most recent, the fallout essentially of week 2, because there were a lot of injuries and what that means going forward. the list is so long. It's outrageous. Let's see. We'll start with, I guess the first piece is, the big names: Cooper Kupp, Isaiah Pacheco, AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel. We got absolutely slammed with big time injuries to big time names this week. Cooper Kupp is expected to miss significant time. I don't think he's officially been put on IR yet, but I think that's all but it is a formality. It will happen.
Yep.
So expect to be without, we went this time last week. Cooper Kupp was looking like a guy that would, if you redrafted your fantasy draft today, he's a top 10 pick, and everybody who had Cooper Kupp was probably ecstatic. Unfortunately, no longer the case for anybody who has Kupp. He's expected to miss probably a minimum of 4 games if he's going to go on IR, and it's possible he's missing even more time than that. Pacheco is going to miss up to 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured fibula. He was already placed on IR. The team signed Kareem Hunt. They have Carson Steele. They have Samaje Perine. We will get into that conversation because that is probably the biggest, the most difficult one to get through, or the most involved one to get through as far as how to approach the Chiefs backfield for the next 2 months. But Pacheco is officially on IR. Ideally, you have IR spots in your league. Encourage your commissioner to add even more than one IR spot if you only have one IR spot for next season and beyond, of course. But we just live in a world where one IR spot doesn't feel like it gets the job done anymore. You need at least 2, and the leagues that I commission, even the redraft leagues that I commission, there's 3. So just to navigate situations like this. The other big ones I mentioned, AJ Brown was ruled out well in advance of the Monday night game last night. He was ruled out Sunday morning. So there was still an opportunity for folks who had AJ Brown to pivot to players playing on Sunday. We knew he was definitively out for Monday night. The latest report is now that he's going to miss a couple of weeks. So you're down your first round pick if you drafted at the back end of the first round and ended up with AJ Brown. He's going to miss a couple of weeks. Same news for Deebo Samuel. Calf strain, set to miss a couple of weeks. There hasn't been a ton of detail beyond that. So his timeline to return is kind of unclear right now. Hopefully it's less than a month. The 49ers have proven to not be super trustworthy with injuries this year so far. They are not off to a good start. So Deebo's return is anybody's guess as far as when that will happen. So all of these injuries impact waivers. Not all of the priority guys for the waiver wire this week are a direct result of injury. Some guys are just playing well in good opportunities, in opportunities that, were maybe out there at the prior to the season, but they weren't proven yet. Quentin Johnston comes to mind, but the fallout of all these injuries are now both Demarcus Robinson and Tyler Johnson are viable depth adds for the Rams. Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, now Kareem Hunt. Some combination of that will probably hold value at some point. Devontae Smith gets a huge boost without A.J. Brown. Is Jahan Dotson able to emerge for a couple of weeks? Does Dallas Goedert become more consistent over the next couple of weeks? We can get into that. And then, of course, Deebo Samuel. That's a boost for Jawan Jennings. So as far as how we prioritize these guys, we can talk about all of that. In addition to guys that are stepping up and playing well regardless of injuries.
Did you want to mention Joe Mixon also?
Mixon's, I think that injury was reportedly not to be considered serious and or long-term. He is, I haven't seen anything about, any missed time. It looks like he could miss a game. I guess it's possible he misses week 3. But it sounds like it's not a long-term concern, similar to that of Justin Jefferson, who is day-to-day, already declared himself that will be ready to go week 3. Amon-Ra St. Brown avoided serious injury. It sounds like Joe Mixon is in that camp of we can be way more optimistic about those guys as opposed to being concerned. So Mixon should be okay. If there's a 1-week absence, then Dameon Pierce, Cam Akers, Daria Gumbawale are the guys that could conceivably see additional work. Pierce missed the Sunday night game against the Bears. So if he's not ready to go, then I guess Akers and Gumbawale. Not not run into the waiver wire for either one of those guys for a 1 week fill-in.
Especially with it not being so like known either. I don't feel confident that we know who the guy is between, any of those options. Do want to mention also that the move to IR for Tua is official today as well. So
that did happen. Tua officially on IR so that he can seek counsel with, neurologists and specialists and all of that stuff to sort out his future, essentially, and what his ability or availability will look like as far as his playing days moving forward. It sounds like he doesn't want to retire. What he chooses to do is nobody's call other than his own and the people in his circle, family, the team, all of that stuff. So whatever happens. Short-term hit at a minimum for Tyreek Hill. Probably a bigger hit for Jalen Waddle with Skylar Thompson taking over for at least the next month, assuming that is the course that Miami moves forward with for the next month. Ryan Tannehill was rumored to be a potential landing spot, Miami, a landing spot for him. Nothing's really materialized beyond what Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle owners want to see happen.
Right.
But the possibility, I guess, remains because the Packers reportedly kicked the tires on him when Jordan Love went down after week 1. So he's a potential, option, I guess. They added Tyler Huntley off of the Ravens practice squad for some additional depth. These are deep league super flex things to pay attention to only. You're not picking up Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley in even 12 or 14 team 1 quarterback leagues.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we have? We'll talk we'll talk waivers and who we prefer, over some names over others before we, but let's get into, just going to address some member questions first. First of all, say hello to the members. I said hi to Fortune, but we'll say hello again. We'll say hi to Greg. Rojo, what's going on? Hope everybody had a good week or a good week too. Hopefully you had strong results. But we can talk shop on these questions here now, to knock those out. And maybe it answers our maybe the questions as far as who do we like for waivers this week kind of get answered along the way. Let's see. Greg, sorry about those last minute losses, man. They're brutal. They hurt, but that's fantasy.
Yeah, that's tough. Actually, had the opposite happen to me, so not too
right.
bad.
So, yeah, it's like it's the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys of fantasy. So with Love potentially out, you have Fields. Do you put a waiver claim in for Derek Carr? And if so, for how much? We'll start there.
If it's Fab, it sounds like it's a Fab claim, right?
Yeah, it would be a Fab claim. So the Steelers have who do they have this week?
Steelers are playing the.
I feel like it's a favorable spot for them. They are at home against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Favored by 2. Over-under is only 35.
So not a lot of scoring expected.
I haven't seen it from Fields yet, and I know Tomlin says they're getting ready to go with him, and I think that they will over Russ, but he hasn't impressed, so it's not like out of the realm of possibilities, in my opinion, that they just go with Russ, like out of nowhere. I don't think that happens, but with how good Carr's been playing, they're favored at home against Philly this week with an over-under of 50. I'm definitely picking up their Carr.
Yeah, I think that's fine. As far as the budget, like $7 or $8.
I was going to say it's somewhere between 5 and 10 for me, so that's right in line.
I would say on the higher end of closer to 10, not more than 10, because it's still just a quarterback at the end of the day. Not disrespecting Carr, but it is generally an easy position to fill. I do like this spot. I mean, the Eagles defense is doing nothing other than making you want to target them in fantasy. through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So Carr at home looks like a great option. I would say $7 to $8. If you miss out on him because somebody spends $12, like Fields is should be fine. I mean,
Right.
again, not spectacular numbers for Justin Fields. Just 117 passing yards this past week, 1 touchdown, 27 yards on the ground on 8 carries. I mean, these are not super impressive numbers. The rushing attempts are encouraging, but the results just haven't quite been there yet. So I'm totally in on like a $7 or $8 waiver claim or fob claim for Derek Carr in 1 quarterback leagues.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right number for sure.
And then as far as your waiver claim potentially for, I guess, is this Braylon Allen with Joe Mixon out? I mean, my question would be, like, what?
He's not my number 1 running back ad. So
no, like who? Are you really gonna? Would you start Braylon Allen? Like, who are you dropping for Braylon Allen? Like, if you have to drop Fields to get Carr, that's fine. I'm good with that. I don't know who the rest of the end of your bench guys are, but like dropping a quarterback for a quarterback in 1 quarterback leagues is I would almost encourage. But who are you dropping for Braylon Allen? Unless, because I don't think Mixon's probably not IR eligible yet in any fantasy league, and he's not gonna be until later in the week. So there's not gonna be like a free bench ad for your team if Joe Mixon is the guy that you are looking to get some depth behind.
Right.
So I would just want to know, like, who are you dropping? Because I'm probably saying no. I'm probably saying whoever it is, I'm not quite there yet. He looks great, but he still only got like 9 or 10 touches last week. So,
yeah,
touchdowns are volatile. He got 2, which was awesome, but I'm not quite there yet with like.
he got 11 opportunities, right? Or 11 touches, we said. 7 carries, 4 receptions, I'm pretty sure.
More than, I thought he only got like, maybe I thought I saw 9. Maybe it was 7 carries, 4 targets, 2 catches.
Targets, 2 catches. Okay, so yeah, 11 opportunities.
11 opportunities
is like not nothing, but yeah,
no.
It's if he doesn't get in the end zone those 2 times, like then you wouldn't have. I mean, no one started him anyway. It'd be kind of weird to have done that. So Braylon Allen to me is more, if you're the Breece Hall owner after seeing all these injuries happen this week, like you gotta insure your guy if he's out there.
Yeah.
But I still like him as a flyer pickup. I'm just not doing it with the purpose of I need a guy to start this week because Mixon's out. It's more like I'm stashing him because if Breece Hall does go down and Braylon Allen's available, that's all my fab is getting dumped for him.
Of course.
He looks so good.
Yeah. So get out ahead of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, to anybody who's just jumping in, appreciate everybody coming in, taking the time to hang out today. We will be getting to the member questions first. That is a perk of being a member of the channel. You will get your questions. Yeah. So if you want your questions answered quickly, all you got to do is the first link in the description of this stream and all of the streams and videos on the channel will explain membership details. You just have to get in at the lowest level membership, 99 cents a month.
It's nothing.
Yeah, we'll get you priority question. We'll get you priority access to questions answered. You don't have to, but I just ask for some patience if you choose not to.
Nick puts a lot of work into this, guys. We hang out a lot behind the scenes, so it's very evident how much he cares and puts into this. So I promise you, it's well worth $1 a month.
Wow. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Appreciate that.
Now show that logo a little.
Yeah. It's the old Matt Ryan. It's the old Matt Ryan, Falcons legend. There you go. This is the result of a lost bet and nothing else. Let's be clear here.
Might be shifting his loyalties.
Not at all. Let's get to Fortune's question. Care or don't care? I like this. I
do like that.
I kind of like how you presented this, Fortune. Quentin Johnston, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Braylon Allen. Any thoughts here, Will?
Can we do a middle, like Quentin Johnston? I'm interested. I think Harbaugh has changed the culture there so quickly.
Yeah.
I I don't think he's going to be getting 2 touchdowns regularly, but I mean, I like McConkey a lot. I could also see Johnston coming out of this and being the number 1 wide receiver. Like, it's not unreasonable for me to think that, he finds, I mean, he was talented. He's first round pick. Like, we watched him dominate at TCU. Like, he has the ability. He, like, of course, I think a lot of people didn't have him rated as high as he was drafted, but that doesn't mean he's on the scrap heap like nothing. Like, the guy still has talent. So I'm interested. So I guess I care by the nature of Fortune's, wording here.
Sure.
Gesicki, don't care.
They have 5 tight ends, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. They have so many tight ends. It's going to be like, it's going to be musical chairs at that for the Bengals.
Burrow doesn't go for the tight ends really. Like, you're not going to see. He's never done that in his career. Like, I just don't see that being. I'm not using any fab or waiver pickup or anything on a guy like Gesicki. Hunter Henry, on the other hand, we've seen him.
That I like.
And he had, I think, 109 of the 130 yards Brissett threw. I mean, he was clearly the safety valve for him, and the Patriots aren't forcing it downfield to receivers. They kind of, it seems like, Mayo knows what that team has and doesn't have, and that offense right now runs through Ramondre Stevenson, and then the passing game, it's like short stuff. It's going to be to the running back. It's obviously going to be to the tight end. Like, Hunter Henry for me is definitely in that tier. Like, he's on top of that tier of guys that you are not going to rely on getting you double-digit points every week, but are going to be he's consistent. I think going to get you 6-7 a week, and then also have a couple flash games in the 12 to 15 range. So I like Hunter Henry for fantasy, especially with we're seeing a lot of top tight ends not performing right now. I'm definitely, I care Hunter Henry, and then Braylon Allen, I care for what we talked about. If
you have Breece Hall,
I mean, I'm picking him up regardless. I'll put a waiver claim. If I have Breece Hall, I'm going for more for sure.
Yeah, sure. Get your guy.
He's a stash guy for sure. That it's get ahead of the super fab dump in case of knock on wood, Breece Allen gets hurt.
Yeah, the least Breece Hall. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly go back to Quentin Johnston because I don't think I touched on it at all.
Yeah.
But I'm in agreement. I like Quentin Johnston. He's not going to play the Carolina Panthers every week. That's another thing.
Sure.
Target the hell out of the Carolina Panthers. Go look at their schedule, and any random depth guy is absolutely going to be on the flex radar whenever they play Carolina. Their defense is is Swiss cheese at best. So and I'm not
5 and 6 targets the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so
it's not a ton, but it's something. It's not like a Xavier Worthy where he's getting 2.
Right. Sure. Second-year player, maybe figuring some stuff out after year 1, which is not an uncommon thing with rookies. Everybody's always so quick to either crown or call a bust to somebody for too soon or too and it's just some of these guys, we got to let them play and let them develop and get some time, get their feet wet, get their sea legs under them. Maybe that's the case with Quentin Johnston, who was getting crucified all offseason as being bad athlete. 3-cone drill was so bad. And, again, maybe he's not all that either. But, I think it's fair to say that we can expect regular contributions from him this year in a way that we didn't get from him last year. But they're not going to play the Panthers every week. He's not going to get 2 touchdowns every week. He might not get 2 touchdowns in a game again this year because that's just such a difficult thing to do. Kudos to him for doing it, but we want to be careful chasing those performances and then being let down that I spent too much fob on something that doesn't happen again. So I would probably put, especially if you're, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Deebo Samuel. Who else? Who are the other wide receivers that are hurt? There's enough of them at this point. If you have Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, and you're like these guys are now they've been knocked down a peg. Quentin Johnson, sure, 10 to $12, 10 to 12 fob. Like,
I think that's way too high.
You think that's too high?
Yeah.
Like $10 is probably fine. I was gonna.
I'm in like the $5 range, honestly.
Okay, I was gonna maybe in desperation situations, like you lost a lot of receivers. Maybe you have Debo and Puka. Maybe you have Kupp too. Probably not, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. If you got absolutely slammed with injuries, maybe a little extra, but
sure,
yeah, maybe the $7 or $8 range is a little bit more reasonable. If that with
Quentin I did Johnston. Want to comment on him specifically that I didn't realize when we started this. His next 2 games are Pitt and Kansas City, and then they're on bye, and then he has Denver. So it's not a pretty
bad
month ahead of him. So I'm not putting a lot of fab into this pickup.
Sure,
so I think I like looking at these two as like who, because like it's not necessarily always like who do you like. Who has an injured wide receiver and needs a guy this week? Like it's obviously part of it, but it's also a lot of people have guys on their bench that they started, they drafted and just aren't performing. And it's more like, okay, am I okay to drop this guy to pick up a guy like, Quentin Johnston? And it's like, sure. Are you dropping Christian Kirk for Quentin Johnston right now?
No.
Or you drop like Cortland Sutton?
I'm stubborn when it comes to this type of stuff. If I commit to a player in a draft,
you're holding on.
It's not uncommon that I hold on to them, maybe to a fault. I try not to get too gung-ho one way or another on a player.
Even a late round pick.
If it's the last guy that you drafted before you grabbed your kicker and defense, fine. That was a flyer regardless. And if through 2 weeks that player's not doing anything and you could use a guy who has done just more than that other player that you might have drafted at the end of your draft, okay, fine. But like Sutton is a vet. Christian Kirk is a vet. They're off to horrendous starts, but there are 15 fantasy weeks left in the season, 12, I guess, or 12 or 13 in the regular season. That is enough time for these guys to still turn things around. Maybe Sutton has a little bit steeper of a climb than Kirk. But I'm going to hang on to those guys for probably at least another couple of weeks before I pull the plug, and they would have to continue to be abysmal for me to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm dropping Kirk. At this point,
you're at the point where you want to drop Christian Kirk.
I think so. I mean, he's just like not part of this like team at all.
It's been awful. And without Evan Ingram week 2, he
still did nothing.
He did nothing. Yeah. So like it's fair to want to see those types of performances and be like, I'm out. This is not cutting it. This isn't good enough. The problem with me with a guy like Kirk is you probably drafted him no later than the top of the 6th round, depending on your draft format and all that stuff. So I just have a hard time of letting those guys go after just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But obviously
I think I don't disagree, but it's
bad.
Like
it wasn't good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm dropping Christian Kirk. I think I'm dropping Josh Palmer. Yeah. I dropped Josh Palmer for Quentin Johnston right now. 100%.
That's fine.
Adonai Mitchell, if Mike Williams, if you didn't already.
Sure.
So I don't know. I that's where I'm at with him. It's like a guy you can pick up. I think that, see what he does. And if he doesn't, like, just drop him later and find the next, like, that's like the waiver game, right? Is like, you're trying to hit on the guy, see for a couple weeks. And then if a guy pops, hopefully you have him on your bench.
Right. Yep. Let's see. He has Ferguson, so it's possible you're going to be without him for a little bit longer. Tried Parkinson this week. I agree. I thought he was in a good spot this week as well.
Same.
Didn't work out. The Rams got absolutely boat raced.
They lost another guard too.
Right. They lost another guy on the offensive line who I believe, I don't know if it was season ending, but I think he's going on IR.
It's brutal what's happening to them.
It's real bad for the Rams right now. I
The
want to
answer to
believe
this question is yes, by the way.
Yeah, the answer is yes. The short answer is yes.
I will be doing this myself in a league.
Right. Yeah. The best you could. Yeah. The easy answer here is yes. Spend fob on Hunter Henry. I mean, are you putting? Is this 10 to 12 fob bucks like something here?
Yeah, I could see going. What's he? I mean, did he do anything week 1? He didn't, right?
Henry, no. He had a.
We just saw this past game happen.
He had a touchdown broken up in the end zone.
Right.
That he didn't catch. The target was there. The result wasn't.
Yeah, I'm putting a good. Yeah, I'd be fine putting 10, 12, something
10,
like
12,
that.
10, 12 $5 to secure.
If you need
Hunter
a tight
Henry.
end, yeah. I mean, it's. I just trust him because we've seen it before.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not like, to me, it doesn't feel quite like a random flyer on a tight end.
Sure.
I mean, it's going to be like, and you don't want to be spending $10 every couple of weeks doing that with tight ends, like cycling through. So that's where I'm a little hesitant. So I'm probably not going above 10, but if you're in, Greg's situation here, I can't trust Parkinson as much as I like him. And, you think like, oh yeah, he's going to get looks because you don't have Kupp or Puka now, but like that offense is just it's going to be bad.
Just go in the toilet. Yeah,
it's going to be bad. Very, very. We'll go with Arizona. Sean McVay dominates the Cardinals historically. Look what they just did to them. Like their team is like Panthers. Like you're going to see it like Panthers bad.
It might
like that be. Level of bad. Like
it might be.
They will be bad.
It might be. Yeah. So Hunter Henry for sure. If you miss on Hunter Henry, this will be just the last thing I hear that I'll say here. Like you could probably get Zach Ertz for $1.
Exactly, and that's that's the appropriate amount to spend. I'd even like if you want to do $1 or $0 on a couple guys that Ertz is like one of those guys. But Henry, you want to spend a little more. Like I'd say probably like 8 to 10 on Henry. Like I think I'd be comfortable doing
that. So also dealing with Debo missing time. So to this point, the thought process kind of applies here. You maybe have heard me say like, if this, then that. If I have Debo, and I know that, that the wide receiver handcuff is not a thing in the way that the running back handcuff is, but if you have Debo, I might be a little bit more inclined to want to grab a guy like Juwan Jennings over Quentin Johnson because he is the direct, in theory, beneficiary of Debo's absence. And if Debo's injury is worse than the 49ers are leading on, we hope that's not the case, but their track record right now is not good. We cannot trust them right now. When they say Debo's going to miss a couple weeks, we hope that's the case, but I don't know that I believe the 49ers right now. So yes, Juwan Jennings, you could probably get him for $3 or $4. He's going to fly under the radar. That is where I would go if you're looking to pick up a wide receiver. If you have Debo Samuel, Juwan Jennings makes a little bit more sense to me, especially Will just brought up Quentin Johnson's matchups over the next 3 weeks, plus the bye, make him not very enticing for the next month. You'll be able to get him for free when somebody else spends $5 on him this week and drops him in 2 weeks. You'll be able to get him for free at that point if you still want him. I would grab Jennings if you have Debo, and he's flying, Demarcus Robinson, who probably is already rostered, but will be 80% rostered by tomorrow. Tyler Johnson, those are the guys that are going to get, and then of course Quentin Johnson. These are going to be the wide receivers that get the attention on the wire. Jennings should fly way under the radar. You should be able to get him for like $3 or $4.
Yeah, I'm probably Johnston over Jennings.
Just in a vacuum.
I'm just kind of looking at some other options here. Yeah. Are you taking either of them or Yosivas?
That's an interesting one. I mean, Yosivas, again, very similar to Quentin Johnson. He had 2 catches and they just both happened to go for touchdowns. It is fair to, bring up Yosivas because like what the hell is going on with T. Higgins. I think that's I don't know that anybody has the answer for that right now, other than the writings on the wall. He might be banged up. He probably does have something that he's nursing, but also he's been unhappy with his contract situation all off season long. The vibes have been nothing short of bad.
Do you think that's what it is?
Dating back to March, I think he's preserved. He's probably got, he's taking care of himself. He's putting himself first, which he probably which he has every right to do.
Yeah.
He thinks he's earned a long-term contract. I think it's fair to say he has earned a long-term contract. The Bengals have not given him one. And if he's nursing anything whatsoever, he's not going to risk it. So who knows when we're going to see T. Higgins next. So to that, with that, Iosivas is a regular in this offense now as a result. I think we're looking at a Quentin Johnson situation. He's catching passes from a great quarterback. Joe Burrow is, when healthy, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and that might be too low, but he's going to spread the ball around. It's going to be random. Trenton Irwin is going to have his random weeks. Charlie Jones, I think, caught a bomb against Kansas City. It didn't go for a score, but he had a nice long catch. He could be the one who's on the receiving end of a score. Right. I like Iosivas. It's just like, what did he do the week prior? I don't think it was much.
He had 6 targets, 3 catches for 26 yards.
Okay, so the involvement is decent. Yeah, the 6 targets is solid, but he only had 4 this past week. He made the most of it, which was great.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. And the fact, too, is, like, if you're looking for a guy to start, they play Monday night. So you're not going to know T. Higgins' situation necessarily going into that week. It is enticing, though, because it's Washington. And we just saw
it is a great matchup.
What Malik Neighbors did to
it is a great matchup.
So I don't hate. I'm probably putting Johnston and Jennings above him, just because Higgins, I think, returns. I don't know if it'll be this week, but the Monday night game, delay scares me. And then once Higgins is back, Iosivas is sort of like dwindled down in value. Where I think Johnston holds his own, and Debo, it sounds like, is going to be out. I would bet Higgins comes back before Debo.
I mean, I hope they all come back within a reasonable timeline. That's just like Higgins. Higgins is such a question mark right now. Yeah. It's like what is going on behind closed doors? That's what I would like to know. All right, I think we got the member questions. Greg, I would say, I would say Jennings over guys like Quentin Johnston, but Iosivas he might already be rostered. If he is, I would take Jennings slightly over Johnson. I think he is more likely to be usable in these coming weeks, and he's got the Rams this week, so nothing super scary about that matchup. So I would say a few bucks on Jennings as far as who to target at wide receiver in waivers this week. I'm going to go back up to the top. So appreciate everybody's patience as we work through the member questions. We will get to everybody else as the questions come in. But again, for anybody just joining, first of all, welcome and thanks for joining. Member questions will get priority responses as a perk of being a member of the channel. But we will get to everybody else, starting with, do you drop Austin Eckler for Donta Foreman? No.
Eckler had a decent week in
he had like 10 half PPR points.
Yeah, he had exactly 10. Last week he had 8.2. I mean, the guy got, he's getting 3.5 receptions a game so far. So like that's where his value is, but he's getting, he's got 99 receiving yards. So like, especially half PPR, full PPR leagues, you're getting flex value out of Eckler right now.
Yeah.
And Foreman looks bad.
He got the opportunities, but he just didn't do a ton with it. I think he got 14.
Ford's going to be part of this rushing attack too.
Yeah, Ford is going to remain the main guy, whereas Eckler, and the other thing with Eckler as like a PPR value, Washington just doesn't have the receivers to consistently throw the ball to. They're going to continue to check the ball down to those running backs. Brian Robinson as well is going to continue to command targets. Those are the guys you want in Washington, and Zach Ertz. As if you're desperate at tight end, you could do worse than Zach Ertz, who is still doing it. Eckler has way more value to me than Donta. I know Donta Foreman got in the game. He got in there. Good for Donta Foreman. Still, contributing in some capacity at this point of his career, but 14 carries, 42 yards. That doesn't scream pickup for me.
And just so he had those carries, but as far as you're looking at pass catching for him too, which he doesn't really do. At least, with this offense, he has 1 reception on the year so far. And they were leading the whole game. He was only on the field for 38% of snaps. Ford actually had more snaps than him. So I just don't think the upside's there unless it'd have to be a weird week where they get some goal line carries. And I'm not going to drop Eckler, who is getting consistent receiving work right now in this offense for, the hope that he barrels in a goal line touchdown. Foreman has.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And real quick, Greg, if Iosivas is available, then it's him over Jennings is fine for this week because they have Washington. That's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Did you see his message before that, though, Nick, about Wandale?
Wandale's available?
I'm putting him above any of these guys.
You would put Wandale over any of these dudes? I mean, he had a decent day week 2.
He's had 2 solid weeks.
Caught a touchdown this past week against Washington. He commanded 12 targets week 1, 6 for 44. That's the opportunity is clearly there. He has Cleveland.
How are you ranking Jennings, Wandale, and Iosivas? And Johnston? Put him in there.
Wandale has Cleveland this week, which I am not enthusiastic about. Obviously, 1 week doesn't make a pickup necessarily, but that is not a good matchup. So I'm not super bullish about Wandale for this week. I think I still give the slight nod to Iosivas
because of Washington.
Because of Washington and the level of quarterback play between the two guys. Wandale is the better individual talent, but he's also in the way more volatile situation.
I'm flipping. I think I'm going Jennings 1 of this group.
Jennings 1.
Yeah, he gets involved. I feel like I'm watching and he's just like.
So fun fact. Jennings had 4 targets on 54% of the snaps week 2, 5 targets on 49% of the snaps week 1. As a part-time player, he already has 9 targets. Now he's probably going to be on the field a lot more.
He will be, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Pearsall's still out, obviously.
Still out.
Gunshots will do that.
Yeah. Debo's obviously down for the count, and now we're down to Brandon Ayuk and I guess and Jawan Jennings.
Still doesn't. I mean, we still haven't seen Ayuk do Ayuk yet. He's still showing having not been at training camp all offseason. So I could see Jennings getting, 8 targets.
8 targets. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got a decent
playing the Rams.
Right. All right, we're officially saying Jennings, Greg. We're officially saying Jennings. I do like Iosivas for the matchup, but Jennings is commanding the same number of targets on a fraction of the snaps. So those snaps are about to go up for Jennings. So I'll take Jennings. I'm fine with that.
I agree.
Okay, 12-team PPR. This is a rank these running backs rest of season question.
2, 3, 4.
Mason,
5.
Allen, Jalen. Well, Mason is still head and shoulders over any depth running back because he is the starter.
Allen is what you hope. Mason is what you hope Allen gets to do, but Mason's doing it. So it's definitely Mason over Allen.
Yeah. Mason, and that's it's like Mason, and then the question is really Braylon Allen, Jalen Wright, Carson Steele, Ray Davis. I would probably put Davis last here. He was the trend. Like everybody thought he was going to get like goal line opportunities right away as a rookie. People don't like James Cook's role dating back to the beginning of last
Still Josh
year.
Allen. Josh Allen is the goal line.
Josh Allen's the goal line back. James Cook doesn't get the red zone opportunities, but James Cook has been getting red zone opportunities. His touchdowns from the Thursday night game were farther out, but he's getting red zone. He's in the game when the Bills are in the red zone. So the touchdown floor for Cook does appear to be higher than what people were giving him credit for coming into the season. Yes, Josh Allen is still the goal line vulture, but James Cook, I think it's fair to say, is operating about as close to a bell cow role as we could have hoped for a Buffalo running back. So I would say Ray Davis is last here.
I don't hate that. Are you putting? I'm not sure. Steele's probably fourth for me, only because we saw Kansas City did sign Hunt to the practice squad, so I see him being the guy that they go with. I mean, Steele, we'll see, but he's like, what's he been, a fullback this whole time, right? Like he's special teams. Yeah. So I think he's fourth for me because like you're saying rest of season, like it's. I mean, I could be dead wrong. If he's like the guy, then obviously he's not probably number 2 on this list. But sure. I know Jalen Wright is, and I know Braylon Allen's the number 2, and I know Jalen Wright is with Mostert like hurt right now, the number 2, and we know Achane got injured last year, and with the amount of involvement they put him in, like knock on wood, he doesn't, but like it's totally possible he could miss time again. And Jalen Wright has, he was explosive in college. So I certainly, and Jeff Wilson got hurt, right? So I'm probably putting Steele fourth.
I would put Jalen Wright second on to piggyback on top of all of that. They're probably going to run the ball more with the backup quarterback in. I think Wright is going to be needed out of necessity to do more.
It's weird that Achane was in there when they had the game in hand, though.
Right, the game was over, and he had like 30 touches or something, or 29 touches.
Is that going to change moving forward?
Yeah, I know.
Daniel switch that up
for Achane's like durability's sake. I hope he does not get that much work again. I really don't want him to see that much work again.
Yeah.
Just, we want Achane to last the season, not put up huge numbers for a couple of games and then go down because he's got too much on his plate.
What does that offense look like with Skylar Thompson? I mean, it depends on who they bring in at quarterback too. Like if they roll with Skylar Thompson until Tua comes back, if he comes back,
bottom half of the league.
I might have him in the order that Bobby wrote him here. As far as who I would want, this is the order for me.
This is the order is how it. I think I would flip flop Wright and Braylon Allen, but I am good.
That's the toughest. That's the toughest decision. So
I think I would slightly give the nod to Wright over Braylon Allen because I think that the Dolphins are going to have to just run the ball more than they planned to. Plus the durability questions of all of those other running backs in that offense. So I would put Wright second. I would put Allen third. Steele fourth, Davis fifth. Mason is in a tier above all of these guys until further notice. Multiple tiers.
I would say if you can steal one of them away, though, the Breece Hall owner, if you're not the Breece Hall owner and you grab Braylon Allen and you outbid that Breece Hall owner, that's an easier, if you want to try to sell him on him. Like, I think you're going to be able to talk that guy or that league mate into that trade and get a nice piece more so than you would be able to do Jalen Wright for the Achane owner. So
agreed.
But anyway, I see where you're coming from, and I don't it's not egregious by any means. So I can see that world too.
So I guess this is kind of the follow-up question, like who do you pick up here? I mean, if you have James Cook, Ray Davis is a little bit more valuable as a result, but I think here, I would go right first. You could probably throw $5 or $6 on these guys and you should be able to get one of them. That's what I'd probably do. I'd probably I'd sprinkle
I'm not putting $5 on Ray Davis.
No. Wright and Braylon Allen. And, Steele is going to cost more than that.
Steele, you're not going to get for $5.
And I'm honestly...
Because there's someone in the league that believes he's the guy. And, yeah. I
think I'm okay with letting Steele go for more. I'm not willing...
Put the claim in still, but, yeah.
Sure. Put a $6 or $7 claim in for Carson Steele. If you end up with him, then great. But I would put, I'm sure you have one specific guy that you're thinking about dropping. Put the claim in for all three of those dudes to drop the same player, and then whoever you end up with is whoever you end up with. I'm okay with any one of those guys from that perspective. If I end up with Wright as a depth stash, fine. If I end up with Allen as a depth stash, fine. And if I end up with Steele, great. He's probably going to go more than $5 or $6 or $7 $5, and I'm okay with letting him go for that. Put it in anyway. I would probably go Wright as my first priority. I think Will maybe would go Allen as his first priority. So at that point, it becomes personal preference.
With James Cook, were you putting Ray Davis, though? Is he still fourth?
Still fourth. Even I definitely believe in the handcuff thought process here, but I think Davis has not done enough to join this group yet of guys to actually consider. And Josh Allen is the dude who is that's the guy who's still the biggest threat to James Cook, scoring opportunities. Right. So just because you have James Cook, this is a specific scenario where I'm not automatically leapfrogging Ray Davis over these other intriguing depth stashes.
I'm probably going Allen 1, Steele 2. This is a different question to me than what he asked before. If I'm doing a pickup, I'm taking Steele over Wright only because, I don't think it's going to be Steele, but I could be wrong, and it is. It's really, not a known thing necessarily. I'm putting Hunt above both of them. If we're being, I'm going Hunt, Allen, Steele, Wright, Davis. I mean, Mostert didn't go on IR, so he will be back. It's just a little more crowded of a room. I like Jalen Wright talent wise. I don't know. Without the quarterback too, it's just
it is
exciting.
Tougher to feel good about the Dolphins offense in general.
I don't mind if you just put Ray Davis above Jalen Wright to ensure your James Cook thing too.
I mean, I get it. I don't know that I'm there, but
just because he's James Cook, that's the only reason.
Sure. Right. Yeah. No, it makes sense. It depends on personal preference.
Because if James Cook goes down, Ray Davis will be
he will get involved. Yeah.
Because that offense is good.
That offense is good. The Bills offense is good and something that you want a piece of. So
I trust I think Jalen Wright's a better player, but if let's say hypothetically Mostert and Achane are hurt and Cook is hurt, who would you rather have?
If all of those guys went down?
Yeah, would you rather have Wright or Davis? If both were the, presumed starters.
I want to say Wright, but I hear you about not having a ton of confidence in Miami's offense without Tua.
And Miami, you need two guys to go down, which they have a proclivity to do. So it's not crazy, but you're getting through two guys to get that spot. So as the James Cook owner, with all that being said too, I'm putting Davis, I think, above Wright for me.
And you could probably only spend $1.
$1 most. Because he didn't do anything. No one's on this.
No, he's just a stash for anybody who has James Cook and nothing more.
All
right, let's see. Kyler's good. You're good at quarterback. Jordan Mason and James Cook and Derrick Henry. You're good at running back.
Zamir, hold on to.
What?
I was just going through player by player.
Okay.
Zamir. Sorry, I didn't know.
No, go for it.
I was saying Zamir hasn't shown you much yet, but he's not a drop for me.
No, he's not a drop. Especially they're playing the Panthers this week. So honestly, Zamir might be a flex candidate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not playing him over Mason.
Not over these three guys, but for anybody else.
Jamar Chase, I'm not worried.
No.
Debo, hopefully he's back soon. Brian Thomas, did he do anything this week?
I like Brian Thomas. I think he didn't have obviously he had a touchdown week 1. He got 4 targets. Oh, that's right. He had a really long gain. That's right. He had a 66-yard catch.
94 yards on 2 set. Yeah. We weren't really paying attention to that game too much when we were watching. It was kind of
off the radar
dud from the, scoring wise for the Jacksonville offense.
I remember getting that or not a notification. I don't have Brian Thomas, but I remember seeing somewhere, whether it was Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
He looks like I'd say at this moment, the 3rd best rookie receiver behind Neighbors and whatever Harrison, order Neighbors and Harrison.
Yeah. Especially with Debo going down, you're starting Brian Thomas this week. I'm
starting him over Mooney and
they're on the road against Buffalo. That is not a good spot. But also Cleveland was a difficult matchup. And
what do you think about Mooney? Well, he's not asking a start set right now.
It's not a start. I guess getting pretty worried. Does that mean you're 0-2? Like that would be are you 0-2? And that's like the concern here because 0-2 sucks. Make no mistake, but it's by no means a death sentence.
Well, he's Kyler had a good week, obviously. Mason's been consistently good. Cook's been good. Henry's been consistent. He's been solid.
Yeah, he did.
But fine. Your receivers, Debo going down, Brian Thomas has been fine, but Jamar hasn't been doing it. Kincaid has not been doing it. So yeah, it's probably
fair.
I'm not worried about Kincaid. I'm not worried about Jamar. Debo, hopefully back sooner than later. I think he will be. The running backs are good. Keep riding Mason until CMC comes back, which he's on IR. So you have another 3 weeks guaranteed of that. And Kyler is one of those quarterbacks that, is in contention to be quarterback 1 overall, just with his rushing and, we saw what, Marvin Harrison, when he runs faster than 16 miles per hour can do. So it, did you see that from week 1?
I don't think I saw that.
It was it was something crazy. It's miles per hour, didn't crack 17 or something like that, the whole game.
Oh, wow.
So, but obviously last week put that to bed. So I don't know what what happened, but yeah, I'm okay to drop. I'm dropping Lazard because there's just higher up. He had a good week 1, but I'm not I don't know. The Jets are. It's a weird team.
Mike Williams is good. Is getting ramped up. Yeah.
What did he do this past? I didn't really Did he do anything this past? He won 1 target, Mike Williams, but
he played 15 snaps, and that was by design.
Lazard had 4 targets.
2 catches, 11 yards. I'm not. Yeah.
If he doesn't get the touchdowns, he's not really. He had a good week 1 against San Fran, but they were playing from behind. So that offense is going to be much more Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and
Mike
Williams coming
as he ramps up. Yeah, I'm fine with.
I'm dropping Lazard and picking up, Jennings to fill in for Debo. Slide Debo to your IR spot actually, and pick up a couple receivers. Drop Lazard, slide Debo over, and get Jennings. Put a claim in for Jennings and Quentin Johnston, Yossi. Yeah, you can take shots on some guys. But I'm fine dropping Lazard. Hold on to Odunze still, just because you got to give that a little more time.
Got to let that cake bake.
But yeah, I certainly wouldn't panic. You just have some,
it's fine.
No tight end. I think Kittle's the only top tight end that's been performing. Laporta's been bad. Kelsey's been bad. Andrews has been mid. I hate that I just said mid. Kincaid, we know, hasn't done anything.
Has done nothing. Trey McBride has
Engram,
been all right,
played
but Trey
one game.
Trey McBride came through because he fell on a fumble in the end zone for so that were like, congrats if you had Trey McBride. You're not going to complain about how you get the points, but like, talk about random,
for sure.
So I wouldn't panic.
That's the move I'm doing, right? If that's my team at this point, is that receiver swap, but like running backs, like, just hang tight and
you're fine.
Zamir sort of develops that RB1 over there in Vegas, and you have a bye week filling guy. But yeah, don't panic.
You're fine. You'll be all right. Yeah, you're all right. You're good. Let's see. What do we got here? Trade question. Give Brock Bowers. I already don't like it. You have Kincaid. Give Brock Bowers and Nick Chubb, and you get Mason, Brian Thomas, and Charbonnet. And on top of that, he could also add Ferguson. Okay, I retract my original statement.
Yeah,
this is actually interesting.
I don't think it's interesting because I'm taking it.
I would take it as well.
Bowers is great, but like, I still believe in Kincaid. I do not believe Nick Chubb's going to come back and be Nick Chubb.
I'm out on Nick Chubb. I wish that wasn't the case, because we all know when Nick Chubb is 100% healthy, he is a baller and one of the best pure running backs in the league. I just don't expect that to happen this year. That injury was awful, a long, lengthy rehab, and he's still without a timeline. He's on the PUP list, and I've not seen any recent reports or updates about Nick Chubb. Even if he does come back, return to play does not equate to return to performance, especially based on the injury that he suffered. Yeah, I would. You have Kincaid. Bowers is tough to give up, but to get a starting running back, a very intriguing wide receiver in Brian Thomas. Charbonnet received, Kenneth Walker is on and off the injury report damn near all the time. So Charbonnet retains value regularly. And just for the hell of it, you could maybe add Ferguson, just I'm
doing a trade with or without Ferguson. If they're willing to throw him in, throw him on your IR, and he's just there in case something happens with Kincaid, or he's not clogging up a spot by any means. But don't not do the trade on the Ferguson thing. I'm taking the trade either way.
I'm good with it. I'm good with the trade. At first, I was like, no, don't give up Bowers. But what you are getting in return is so worth it. It
obviously depends on your roster too, but Mason's going to be RB1 for the next 3 weeks, which in and itself is great. And then
probably more.
Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to be a top. I'd say he's going to be wide receiver 25-ish.
I was going to say, can he be top 36 rest of season? I think he can.
I think so. Oh, for sure.
He can. Yeah.
What's he been already? I mean,
he was 2 catches for 94 yards.
He was wide receiver 18 week 1 and 27. So yeah, I think he's a top.
He's a wide receiver 2.
Top 30. Top. Yeah, he's a back end wide receiver 2.
He's a wide receiver 2 right now.
High end wide receiver 3. The rest. I think he's a high end wide receiver 3 the rest of the year. And they got him I think their schedule looks pretty good coming up too. So it's not, you're not seeing any Buffalo's tough this week, but after that, Houston, Indy, Chicago's also tough. New England will be tough. There's a couple tough ones coming up, but yeah, I like it.
I like the trade. I like the.
And it's not even to sell high on Bowers. I love Bowers.
Oh no, Bowers looks awesome.
But you have Kincaid.
And you're getting rid of, I hate to refer to Nick Chubb as dead weight, but I think in 2024, Nick Chubb is dead weight. So you're getting him off of your roster. Yeah.
Well, he's IR. I'm more looking at it as if this person believes in Nick Chubb,
let them.
Let them. If it gets you Mason and Thomas Jr. and Charbonnet, yeah. And Charbonnet's he doesn't even look good, but we see if you have the opportunity, you're going to score.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. I see we got some new folks trickling in, so appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out again. one of the perks of being a member of the channel is you will get your questions answered out, in priority order. So I'm going to jump down, get a couple of member questions, and then we will jump back up to the top. So CXK, Yankee Doodle, Anthony Garcia, see all of you, JTube, sit tight. We will get to your questions, but I gotta give some love to the folks who help keep the lights on around here. So Greg just had a follow up. So you have Bijan.
He would likely ride the bench.
Okay.
Who's he referring to? Jennings
or any of these running backs? Do you basically? I guess the question is: are you dropping Zeke for Braylon Allen, Carson Steele, or Samaje Perine?
Yeah,
I think I would as well. And honestly, it's like none of these dudes are handcuffs, so it's personal preference. If
not
you believe
Ryan, I do it for
Steele or Allen.
Do it for Hunt. I think he follows up later. Oh, Hunt is available too. Yeah.
You want
add Hunt to this mix of what he's saying to Allen, Steele. I drop Zeke for Hunt, Steele, and Allen.
No.
And then, you know what? Fuck it. Do P Ryan, I guess, also. And just put
fourth.
Put a $0 bid on P Ryan.
Sure.
And then for the other guys, I'm probably going $12 for Hunt.
Wow, that much for Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the guy. I don't think if they believed in Steele or P Ryan, why are they bringing in Kareem Hunt?
They wouldn't sign Kareem Hunt. Okay. It's just
Kareem Hunt do it in
he looked like he was at the end last year.
I know, but it's the pass catching role.
Yeah, he's a vet. It's a great offense. Yeah.
How old is he?
Hunt? I think is he in that 29 range?
29.
Yeah. So
whatever.
It's volatile. I don't know if I would go $12, but I could throw a couple bucks, like 2 or 3, because I don't think you're going to have. I think everybody's going to focus on the guys that have been there, Carson Steele and Samaje Perine. I think you could get Kareem Hunt for like $2 or $3.
But if I get him for 10, and someone bids 2 or 3 or whatever, and I overspent by 8, and he's the guy for the next 6 weeks,
sure,
I don't fucking care about that.
I don't care about $8.
6 fab or whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. So
but I'm going to care if someone else is smart and does it, and then I only spent a few, and then I lost out by $2. Like, you're only spending fab on one of them because Zeke is the drop for all of those. So I believe it's Hunt. I get what you're saying, but it's not like someone that pays 60 for a guy and he could have gotten him for 20.
Right. Yeah, that's not the case with these backs.
Lack of touches Bijan got in the second half last night.
Did he?
Was that true? Let me look at some. I'm not concerned.
He played 75% of the snaps.
That's
14 carries, 97 yards, another 4 catches for 25.
Let's look at the second half of the game.
He did do most of his damage.
It was Bijan, and then Algier came in for a few plays when they got to spell Bijan, which is fine. Sure. We were watching the game, and Algier, both of those running backs were cutting through that D line like Swiss cheese. It was not an issue bringing Tyler Algier in there and spelling Bijan to he doesn't need to get. We saw how efficient he is, how good. He's so good. He doesn't need to get 25 carries a game. And then on the touchdown drive was the one. That was the deep pass to Mooney, right? So that was London, Algier, McLeod, Bijan, Pitts. I mean, lack of touches is weird because again, Bijan got the carry. I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson stopped him on that 4th down. But then the Eagles were trying to run clock, and then when we got the ball back, it was throw.
Out of necessity, yeah.
I thought Bijan. I have no concerns over Bijan's workload in that game at all.
I'm not yet
dogfight of a game. There was no big lead ever.
Yeah, Bijan averaged almost 7 yards a carry, but Algier averaged almost 6. So there wasn't, I think they're just
Their
rotating.
Atlanta's O-line run blocking is very
good. I mean, they're just rotating their guys in, and they're both effective. If they can help keep them both fresh, then they're going to do that. I mean, what
Algier's on your waiver wire, which I don't think he is.
He's
like,
not going to
throw him on top of everybody.
That's like a $50 fob type of thing.
Not 50, but like
49.
He's involved, and they bring him in. Like, I'm not like Bijan will be there for. It's not like he's the red zone guy over Bijan. It's just like if they're going to run Bijan 4 or 5 times in a row, they're going to bring in the other running back who is also a good player.
Yeah, Jake, I'm not worried about Bijan's production. I'm not worried about the cadence in which they decided to deploy those guys. He totaled over 100 yards from scrimmage. If he does that on 15 touches, like, honestly, to me, that's what I want. I don't want a guy who get 30 touches a game, potentially overworked, run into the ground, and when I really need him in the fantasy playoffs, he's out of gas. Like, that's not what we want. That's not what we want. So, like, honestly, I like, if a running back gets 100 scrimmage yards on 15 or fewer touches, that's exactly where we want them to be. A touchdown would just be gravy at that point. I'm not worried about Bijan even a little bit.
75% of snaps. Yes.
Yeah, he's a bell cow. Not worried. The production has been there through 2 games. The touchdowns will come. We keep it moving with Bijan. We're good. We're not worried about him. We're all right he's all right. God, there's nothing more annoying than a car alarm just endlessly going off right now. But
we can't hear it on the stream.
Hopefully you don't have to hear it. Great. That's what I want to hear. Okay, let's keep it moving. Appreciate everybody's patience as we move through these questions. I got to give love to the members first, but we will get to everybody. So let's move it back up to the top a little bit. Appreciate it, CXK, laying out scoring format and league format and all that stuff.
If you're competing, I like this, but I like it for both sides, frankly. Like, if I'm a team that has Herbert and I'm rebuilding, I like I mean, look how good Darnold looks in that with Kevin O'Connell's system. Like,
Kevin O'Connell is
very good.
You should believe in him as a play caller. The Vikings play calling is something to believe in. They know what they're doing as a coaching staff in Minnesota. Obviously, a guy like Justin Jefferson makes life easier for everybody, but did any of us expect Sam Darnold to do what he did against the San Francisco 49ers, especially with going into the game with no TJ Hawkinson or Jordan Addison? It's like, that was incredibly impressive. Yeah,
he's certainly, making it look good.
So McCarthy in a few, and as soon as 2025, I mean, yeah, he should be fine as well. Once he finds his way, he'll be essentially a rookie when he gets his first opportunity as a second-year player next year. But yeah, I mean, the situation is good for him moving forward. Herbert, obviously, I think it's fair to say he's still considered one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't know that we can put him top 5 at the moment or anything like that, which was what the maybe early trajectory was looking like.
Well, when he throws 35 touchdowns and 5,000 yards or whatever is.
Yeah, it's like it's warranted. It's fair. There was a time where he was like the dynasty QB 2 or 3 behind Mahomes and Allen. That is not the case anymore. But Herbert is a good quarterback. So, you can hang your hat on that. The question will be, like, for moving forward, for as long as Harbaugh is his coach, what does his volume look like as a passer? That's the only thing.
And that's where it's a little, I'm not sure, because, his attempts I'm trying to find his attempts per game here over like his career, but he, first couple of years, he comes out with, 4,300 yards, 5,000 yards, 4,700 yards. And then we know last year he missed 4 games and only had 3,000. But I think with the way Harbaugh and is Greg Kubiak's the OC there, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's.
Did he go over there?
It sounds.
Greg Roman, sorry.
Oh, Roman, right, from the Ravens. Yeah, they brought in.
Yeah.
All the
I that's who I had in my mind, and I just said the wrong.
There was a Greg. It's a Greg. Yeah, Greg Roman is the offensive coordinator. So they're going to run.
It's going to be a lot of running. I don't think we're going to see him ever get back to the 5,038 type season he had. I just don't think he's throwing the ball, 650 times a season anymore. It's probably going to be, I think a good year out of him, it's going to be like 500 to 550. And so, like, I think he'll be a solid guy.
Sure.
And you can play him now, which McCarthy you can't. So, yeah, if you're competing, I like this trade.
If you're competing, 100%. For this year, Herbert helps you win, which I think he is. I think he is competing. So that is a win now move. So I like it. But I think it was fair for both sides.
And you know what he is, right? Like McCarthy, we don't know for sure, like, if he's going to be like good or not.
Sure.
Chuba or Kareem Hunt or Steele or P. Ryan.
Basically, which running back to pick up? Chuba.
Hubbard's interesting now with Andy Dalton at the reins.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, Jonathan Brooks is going to continue to miss a few more weeks. Probably, we're looking at maybe mid-season for Jonathan Brooks, like a week 7, week 8 is maybe a best case scenario with him. And Chuba sprung back to life a little bit this past week. He did nothing week 1. But even in a horrendous situation last week, 10 carries for 64 yards and caught 4 balls. I think I would go Chuba here.
Here's how I think you should look at it, because you're saying what you just did about Brooks. He's coming back week whatever.
Maybe 8 or maybe week 8.
We'll say week 8.
Sure.
Isaiah Pacheco is probably around the same time, right? So any of these players have essentially that same lifespan.
Sure.
Now, once Pacheco's back, any of these 3 are dead in the water regardless.
Sure.
When Brooks comes in, coming off, like, Hubbard's probably still in the mix.
Yes.
I don't think they just give it to the rookie, over, just instantly like that. I will say, I think because it's Hubbard, I'm going Hubbard 1. But then it's just preference out of the other 3, and I'm going the order you have them: Hunt, Steele, P. Ryan.
I would, Chuba 1, and then I'm okay with the order that you have it in for the Chiefs in the way it's spelled out here now. Hunt 1 is fine. I'm fine with. Steele 2, P. Ryan 3. Well, I should say Hunt 2, Steele 3, P. Ryan 4. I would pick Chuba of this group because there's no question. Yeah, it's Chuba for the Panthers. There's no question about that. At least for the short term, there are, for all of the projections that we can try to have or predictions about the Chiefs' backfield, it's unpredictable. We truly we have to see it play out. With Chuba, we know he's the guy for at least the next month. So I would say Chuba.
I'd rather the Chiefs player, but you just don't know for sure who that is.
You just don't know who it is. At least with Chuba. And like you said, Andy Dalton should stabilize that situation a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's see. Lost Cooper Kupp. So that sucks. Do you drop Tank Bigsby for Gabe Davis? Just to, I guess, get more receiver depth? No, I would not. Bigsby had a really nice week 1. What did he do week 2? Oh, did he not play?
No, I think he played.
He didn't record any. He didn't record a snap. He didn't record a touch. He suffered a shoulder injury during the second quarter on a kickoff return and was unable to return during the second half. Okay.
Yeah, he's still the number 2 guy there.
I would not. That sucks. That was an unfortunate situation for Bigsby, but I'm not dropping him for Gabe Davis. Gabe
Davis stinks.
I think he had a couple catches, 3 catches for 43 yards. 3 catches for 62 yards week 1 is not bad. It's not great, but it's not like the worst. 3 for 43 stinks. is not enough.
Gabe Davis stinks.
Will is a well
I was right.
Gabe Davis hater,
and I was right.
That's all right. Fair enough. No, I would not drop Bigsby for Gabe Davis. If you already picked up Whittington, that's, I guess, fine as like a deep stash. Other guys that are probably more likely to help out now, if you need a guy this week, would be, Jawan Jennings, Yossi Vosh for the Bengals. Maybe if a Wan'Dale Robinson is out there. Who's the other name? I'm not crazy about Quentin Johnson on the road against Buffalo this week, but he's probably a little bit more viable than somebody like a Gabe Davis. I don't feel great about starting Quentin Johnson in a bad spot on the road, but at least he's,
drop Jordan Whittington for Gabe Davis if you're going to drop someone.
Drop Whittington for Davis. Sure, fine, because Whittington is a deep, deep stash, and
that's
this
like
is
a dynasty.
He's a dynasty stash, and this is a bad offense now. Like, this is officially a bad offense.
And he hasn't even, we've seen the injuries, and he hasn't seen the field. I
mean, I guess this would be his first potentially real opportunity.
He'll still be the fourth guy behind Tutu,
DeMarcus
Tyler
Robinson,
and
Tyler Johnson. Maybe he out targets Colby Parkinson, but I would drop.
What you won't see. Whittington's not going to go for 10 and 100 yards and a touchdown. So you're not going to need to dump Fab into him to get him. If anything, he might have a nice little game, and if that happens, okay, then spend $2, $4, whatever to pick him up. Don't clog your roster spot with Jordan Whittington, hoping he's their next Puka. That's the hype out of there right now, or was in the offseason. And because they did it with Puka and Cup, everyone's I'm not holding up a roster spot for that.
For Jordan Whittington. Not in redraft.
12 man too. It's only 12.
Yeah, I would drop Whittington.
Sit or start Walker if healthy. You start Walker if he's playing.
You start we'll get to the we can go a little bit more in depth on start sit questions as we move through the week. If Kenneth Walker is active, he's in your lineup.
That's the answer to that question. Yeah, Walker's healthy.
If he's in your if he's in your line, if he's healthy, he's in your lineup. Jaden Reed for Deontay Johnson.
No, Love's coming back.
Love will come back.
He didn't go on
Love
IR.
will come back. Reed is the better player at this point. Again, he got wiped out because I don't want to make this sound like I'm trashing the dude. Malik Willis played a pretty good game, all things considered, on Sunday, but he's not Jordan Love. Not that anybody's making that claim. He played better than we could have ever expected. But to that point, I don't think anybody was expecting much from Malik Willis. And it came to fruition as far as production for some of the receivers. Jaden Reed, 2 catches for 9 yards. We're not totally surprised by that. It's unfortunate if you rode the wave and just hoped he's a great individual talent and he balled out week 1, so I'm going to go back to him for week 2 and hope he comes through on some volume. That didn't happen.
Hopefully no one started Reed.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Reed is you drafted Reed to be a top 3 receiver for your team in all likelihood, so you might have had some hope after a great week 1, even without his starting quarterback. So you're not starting him this week. You're not starting him next week. But Jordan Love avoided IR. He should be back in a few weeks. Maybe Deontay Johnson is in a slightly better situation now with Andy Dalton, but Jaden Reed is the better player catching passes from the better quarterback on the better offense when all things are equal. And Jordan Love is going to be back sooner than later by all indications. I would, if you're giving Deontay Johnson and getting Jaden Reed, then yes, smash accept. Yes, smash accept, but it's Jaden Reed. The answer is
don't start him until Love's back.
Don't start him until Love is back, but if you have Jaden Reed, hold.
Correct.
Hold.
Although I don't hate Deontay as just talking on him for a second with Andy Dalton, quarterbacking
should be a little bit better.
He's of interest. Him and Thielen tick up for sure. The whole
they
offense.
get a little bit more. They get a little bit.
Their O line did good. Bryce looks
Bryce looks bad.
Broken. Awful.
Bryce looks bad. Yeah.
Cry me a river.
It looks bad. And Dynasty Football Keep, appreciate you, sir. Yes. If anything else, if nothing else, if you are enjoying the stream and the engagement and all of that, I just ask that you like the stream. If that helps for algorithm purposes. Appreciate that. Let's see, where are we at? This is a trade question. Lamar and Chris Olave for Jamar Chase.
One quarterback, yes. Superflex, no.
Superflex, obviously not. So okay?
Wait, this is Dynasty. You said?
No.
Oh, this is redraft. Sorry.
I assume it's redraft. If there's no additional, I assume it's redraft. Are you giving up Olave and Lamar to acquire Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
I think I am as well. You might be. I don't know what your QB alternatives are. Like, I don't know who's on the waiver wire, or if you have a QB2 that you feel confident about. Because obviously Lamar is a QB1 in fantasy, always will be with his rushing floor.
I'll stream quarterback and take the upgrade of Olave to Chase, though.
Yeah, Chase is an upgrade over Olave. Olave had a nice game week 2, but Chase is a top 5 receiver in the league.
You got to remember too, Chase was doing that hold-in thing, so he's going to be like coming on as the year goes on. Burrow always starts slow, like notoriously. Like, it's just
could be a big-time get-right spot this week against Washington.
If you can buy low on Chase, which this isn't necessarily doing, Lamar and Olave, it's a fair package, but I'm fine with that trade.
Oh, yeah. I'm good with that. Let's see.
Pick up Steele after the Hunt sign.
Pick up Steele after the Hunt.
You have Hunt. I'm picking up Steele as well. Yeah, I mean, if a droppable guy, do it. And then
I guess that would be my question. Who would you drop? Desperately need an RB2. You have Pacheco and Mostert. So Pacheco's down for the count. Mostert. Could Mostert be back this week, or are we looking at
Mostert? What are you talking about, Mostert?
Sorry, it's a follow-up question. Pick
up Steele.
They have Pacheco and Mostert.
I'm luckily tuned with Destiny. I have Pacheco and Mostert. Only the running back I got is Algier. I have Bijan.
So you have Bijan.
Only other running back I got is Algier. I have,
which is fine. You have. Okay, got it.
He's just like, only other guy I have is this guy, but I also have this.
But I also have.
What is it?
A top three running back. He's got a top 3 running back, which is good. That's great. We want that. That's what we want. Yeah. So just that's you have Bijan. So you're good there. I mean, could you theoretically start?
No, just do it. I like, you get 2 if you already have Hunt for whatever reason, I don't know why you would, but he says he does.
It's a free pickup before he signed with the Chiefs. He was a free pickup. You didn't have to wait for
still be waiver though, right?
No, not if you're a free agent. Not if you're a free agent.
I don't know if that's.
If you're not on a team, you are. Like now, yes.
You're saying I could go pick up Leonard Fournette right now?
I think you can.
He's waiver.
Is he on a team?
No.
What?
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Either way, he has him on his team. If you have a droppable guy, yeah, take another lottery ticket on Steele. Why not?
Sure. Yeah, it's just like who. Yeah, that's the question. Like, who are you?
Pingley, right back real quick. Who you would drop? And
yeah, who would you drop? That's the question. Who would you drop? Would we trade Kupp for Bowers? So like, are 100%. Are you good at wide receiver? I mean, I guess the thing with Kupp, even if he comes back, is he going to be Cooper Kupp?
Doing this is in a vacuum. I'm doing it.
Okay.
We haven't. I mean, what tight end would you have where you're not talking about this if you have Kittle, I guess, but like Bowers has been great. Bowers has going to be out for a lengthy amount of time. They're thinking about IR.
Like who's your starting tight end right now? Are you relying on a dart throw, or did you punt at tight end and now you have a chance to upgrade? Like, is that what this situation is? Are your receivers good enough where, I mean, obviously you're not going to have Kupp for at least a month, probably more. Like, are your receivers good enough to continue on without him, even if he does come back healthy? And then, of course, what does that look like? So if the answer is yeah, I've got some decent receivers and I'm okay, but I could really use a tight end, and someone is thinking buy low on Kupp, then yeah, give up Bowers. Hunt was okay. Hunt was
give up Bowers. Isn't he trying to get Bowers?
Or try to get Bowers. That's what that's what I meant. Yeah, if you're trying to, if you need a tight end and you can get Bowers and your receivers are fine, yeah, I would do that.
Here's who I'm not doing. If I have Kittle, Kincaid, McBride. That might be it.
So you do this trade even if you have like Kelsey or Laporta.
Yeah. Because Laporta I'll add onto that list too, actually. Let's talk about Laporta real quick. Is he the consequence of Jameson Williams breaking out?
The JMO emergence is coming at the expense of Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
Through 2 weeks, that looks like the case.
I'm on like a concern level for Laporta right now. For me, out of 10 is probably like a 4.
Okay, so you're willing to remain patient with Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's really good, and that offense is really good.
He's very good. Yes, and that offense is still one that.
If I have Kelsey though, I'm doing this trade.
Okay.
I mean, Kelsey's been like not involved in the offense.
No,
they're like not using him.
And they weren't like the offseason noise was like they're going to scale Kelsey's workload back because the Chiefs are playing for February, not September and October. And that looks to be like they weren't mincing words. Like that looks real.
Yeah, I, as a Kelsey owner in fantasy leagues, it's like its own issue. But then like in redraft, I have him in a league and I am looking to hopefully he has a game and then I might sell him. Like, I have to see what the landscape looks like at that point. I was hoping he did this week and then try to do like, because Kincaid had another low game on Thursday Night Football. So I was hoping to work some sort of flip in there. But yeah, if you're like a Kelsey owner and you have Kupp and you can get Bowers for Kupp, I would definitely do that.
I'm good with that. So I guess this is another potential variation of a trade that you have available. You would give up Lamar and Kincaid for Kyler and McBride. Is that lateral? I mean, you'd be getting the stack.
I'm holding on to Lamar and Kincaid.
So you would do Lamar and Olave for Chase, but not Lamar and Kincaid for Kyler and McBride.
Correct.
It feels like it feels like I'm giving you like.
It seems like a trade just to trade.
It's I mean, you know, and if you believe in Kyler and Trey McBride, then of course always make a move that you yourself believe in.
I don't have a problem with doing this trade.
No,
I wouldn't.
But like to me, it's like it feels lateral. Like,
let me ask you a question: if you have Marvin Harrison, are you doing this
to acquire Kyler and Trey McBride and just go?
Because you get your precious stack,
full Cardinal stack.
Do you want McBride? And that's like not.
That's a lot of things have to go right for all of those guys to work out every week. So maybe not, but if I don't have Harrison, and my assets are a little bit more diversified, then I might then I'm a little bit more open to it. But Lamar was drafted over Kyler. Kincaid and McBride went in the same range in drafts, so I'm not as bullish about this one as I'm way more like, oh yeah, go get Jamar Chase if you can get him for Lamar and Olave. That one I'm a little bit more interested in.
Where are these two quarterbacks for you rest of the season? I assume Josh Allen is 1 and Hurts is probably 2.
I think that those two have done enough to where like we're not moving off of them as QBs 1 and 2 yet. Lamar is probably 3, and Kyler's
are these two ahead of Mahomes for you?
Lamar is because of his insane rushing floor. Kyler looks great. I'm willing to go. I'm willing to put Mahomes over him for one more week.
I think I
but it's close.
would rather Kyler with Pacheco being out these next few weeks too. Because I think that offense in general is going to be like weird. Like it's going to be different and not as like consistent without Pacheco. So like you may think like, oh, they're going to throw it more, which is like conventional thinking, but like I also just don't think they're going to be in the red zone as much. And Mahomes hasn't been a dominant fantasy performer for a while.
For a little bit. It looked like coming into the season that he would be with the revamped wide receiver core, but
if Kelsey's not what he was,
but if Kelsey's not
Kelsey, worse weapons than he did last year.
Yeah. Kyler's cleared 50 yards rushing in both games so far.
Worthy's like a jet sweep guy that gets like 2 or 3 touches a game. Like he's not like, you know what I mean? He's not Tyreek Hill.
No.
He's not AJ Brown. He's not.
All right. Yeah. So Kyler ahead of Mahomes. That's fine. But I would put Lamar ahead of Kyler for now.
That's fair. And I don't disagree because Lamar can go off for a $120 rushing. Like
any given week. Anytime he pretty much wants to.
And I still believe in Kincaid, and McBride hasn't shown me.
Yeah. So I would. Yeah. I'm not crazy about this move, but I would take Lamar and Olave and go get Chase if that is an option.
Is that the same person asking that question?
Yeah, I think he's maybe got a couple of options on the board for deals.
Guy's really trying to get rid of Lamar.
Well, if you can upgrade, then you can upgrade.
Do I drop Jace?
No. Do I drop Smith-Njigba for Quentin? No, I think
Johnson,
JSN just had a career day, for him, like, you know.
No. He had a good day.
Big no. 16 targets for Jackson Smith-Njigba this past week. 12 catches for 117 yards. Big hold. I don't know that he's going to do that every week, but I mean, he made Tyler Lockett irrelevant this past week. So that's which is no small feat. Tyler Lockett's a savvy vet. Smith-Njigba is, maybe we're finally starting to get the first wide receiver taken off the board last year. Maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a JSN emergence. And also Geno Smith is playing well.
Yeah, he is.
He's playing well.
I'm not going to overreact, but it's good to see Jason. Like at the end of the year last year, he had some games where he did well, and then it's good to see a game where he does it again. Like it's just okay, like we'll string more of those together, and then it's like, okay, we can start putting him in at flex.
Yep.
But I definitely believe in his talent and situation more than Johnson's.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, big hold on JSN. We're hanging on to him for sure.
What's next?
Do the Panthers start Bryce Young again? I don't think so.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think they do.
Ever?
Andy Dalton would have to be downright horrendous. Like they went ahead and decided to make this move in the first place. Like, yeah,
but to try to preserve, like, take Young out and like let him sit for a while and then try it again. To me, this is the same. This is like the same thing they did, like with Zach Wilson in New York, and then they put him back in again. Like, not put him back in when Rodgers got hurt. I mean, like they didn't Mike White come in and then they were like, all right, Zach Wilson.
They went back to
like they want Bryce Young to work,
of course.
And so this is the next tactic of, in my opinion, bench him, have Dalton play. Like, you don't throw him back out there and have his confidence shattered over and over and over again. Let him sit for a while, and then I think he'll start again. Like, it's a second year of a rookie deal on a number 1 overall quarterback. Like, they're not just going to bench him forever. Andy Dalton's not doing anything. Like, I think if he goes,
he's not the future, that's for sure.
I think Bryce Young starts again this year. I think Dalton could, unless Dalton goes like 10 and 5 the rest of the season or something crazy like that. Like,
which is probably not happening.
It's definitely not.
Which is probably not happening.
But it's like, they don't care. Who cares about Andy Dalton? Like, the argument, I guess, is like for the locker room, like if he's balling and then you bring Bryce Young, but like
That's the
not
thing.
idiots. Like, you got to know, like, they all want Bryce Young to succeed too.
Of course, but that's a good point though that you bring up. Like, where are the heads of the guys in that locker room? How much confidence do they have going into any given week to win a game with Bryce Young at quarterback? Right now, the answer is can't be anything other than 0. So that would be
I think
one thing.
You got to do this move, which is what they're doing it for.
You had to do it now.
Yeah, this is not Dalton's team. This isn't like a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield. Like, Dalton's what, 35?
He's an older vet at this point who has maybe a couple of years left in the league before he rides off 36. Into the sunset.
He's Kirk Cousins' age. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Dalton's been around a while. I guess it's possible that Bryce Young starts again. Obviously, the Panthers have a vested interest in him turning into anything more than what he has shown. Yeah. I would say it's not going to happen for at least a month.
As it relates to, I think it's longer than that. I'm saying for fantasy purposes, which is really all that matters, it doesn't affect how you look at anybody in terms of, it does in the sense of Dalton's getting to start, so guys will produce now. But I'm not like forecasting Young's return and weighing that on a, Deontay Johnson or Adam Thielen or Chuba Hubbard or Jonathan Brooks decision. You know what I mean? Like today.
You mean
I'm not valuing any of them moving forward based on a potential Young return. I'm valuing them based on the fact that Dalton's playing right now.
Okay. Got it. Fair enough. What's going on, Jay? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Should I drop Dell for no?
Do you drop Dell for
no?
No, I like Shaheed. Get Shaheed if you can. Who
Get
else?
Him a different way.
Get Shaheed, but not at the. I'm not worried about Tank Dell, even though the numbers haven't been there. The opportunities have been there. It just hasn't translated yet. I'm not worried about Tank Dell.
Yeah, and just like hitting on Houston's situation real quick is I own Dell in a couple leagues. I also own Nico Collins in a league. Like, there's been a little bit of like wondering what this offense is going to look like. Like, Nico Collins is the bona fide wide receiver 1 of that team, and like that's been confirmed. Like, he is so good. He's going to contend for, I think, wide receiver number 1 overall in the league for fantasy purposes this year. He's incredible. Stroud looks good.
Yeah,
like that's that. Then I believe in Dell over Diggs. Diggs got the 2 touchdowns, but the air yards per target are like so very low for him. Like, Dell's going to be able to put up like real numbers. Like, Diggs, it's like I would have sold high on Diggs after week 1. Yeah. And if you can buy low on Dell, I would do that.
That's what I would do. I would try to buy low on Tank Dell. But I'm not giving up on Dell. I do want Rashid Shaheed. Whoever the last guy is on your bench, whoever it is probably not as valuable as Rashid Shaheed right now. Rashid Shaheed has 2 wide receiver 1 performances to open the season, or maybe low end, maybe high end wide receiver 2.
Looks like Jay says he has Nico as well. And Jefferson. So, Jefferson and Nico are your starters. You could try trading Dell after he has some good games then, but like, don't sell low on him.
You can say there's no place for him now, but look at the slew of injuries that just happened this past week. We lost Kupp, we lost Debo, we lost Pacheco. Like, that's,
who else do you have on your roster you could drop for Shaheed?
There's no Jefferson got hurt too. It sounds like he's day to day and he'll be fine, but he picked up an injury. We saw him have to walk back to the locker room. Like, there's no place for a guy until there is. And I know that sounds silly to say, but like, in a heartbeat, things can change. Like, it doesn't take much for a guy to have a place in your starting lineup. Yep. Hang on to Dell. Try to get Shaheed by any means necessary, other than dropping some obvious dudes, even if they're off to a slow start. And then just to wrap up Tingley's question about,
how's your likely
running backs? These are the guys
that hunt for Steelers, probably dropping Cooks. Brandon Cooks.
Cooks.
I'm fine with Cooks or Kirk as your drops, and
for
Cooks
Carson Steele, and then that way you have the Chiefs
drop Cook.
backfield.
Drop
Yeah, that's
Cook.
fine. Either one is a fine to drop. To get.
You're fine dropping Kirk. I thought you were Kirk. You're holding on.
Cooks, yes.
No, Cooks you drop. You're saying
Cooks you drop. Kirk, I might want to hold for one more week.
Okay.
Kirk, I might want to hold for one more week, but Cooks, yes.
Yeah, Cooks. I'm fine dropping either, but I go ahead with Cooks. Either one is waiver fodder, in my opinion.
There you go.
Buying low on White.
Are we buying low on? Is this Rashad White? I assume it's not Zamir White. It's got to be Rashad White. The answer is no.
Nick is trying to get rid of Rashad White where he has him everywhere.
I'm trying to get rid of him wherever I can.
For a big game, you can get him off his team.
I want a huge game.
Rashad White is a hold and sell if you can after
you have to, because you're not buying him. He looks like he's stuck in mud, like running the ball. His vision is not good. He's like running into his own offensive lineman. He's good as a pass catcher. He is definitely there's a floor because he's a viable pass catcher out of the backfield. But running the football, Baker Mayfield has more rushing yards right now through 2 games than Rashad White does on, as you could probably assume, a fraction of the opportunities. I like Rashad White. I have been a Rashad White guy in the past. His shortcomings are quickly coming to a head as far as an efficient runner this year. I'm not buying low on Rashad White. If anything, I am waiting for Rashad White to have a good game and trying to sell him to somebody who wants him. Don't be that person, though, that buys him. Yeah. Don't be the person to buy Rashad White. I hate saying that because I have liked Rashad White, but the writing is on the wall at this point. He's not an efficient runner. He has a floor in PPR and half PPR leagues to some extent, but I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want him on my team right now.
Great question from Nick. Yeah.
Trade Brown, AJ Brown
has to be.
Trade AJ Brown for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Henry, Mason, Pittman, Shaheed. You're getting.
He's got Puka, AJ, and Pacheco all hurt, so he needs wins. And
you need wins. You need wins, and you need a high end option.
Gibbs is playing, and Brown is going to be out for a couple weeks, maybe not IR, but 2 or 3 weeks. I think you need guys playing right now, and you don't have a wide receiver 2 that I like because Pittman, there's alarms going off right now given the Richardson situation for me. But if you can have a backfield of Henry, Mason, and Gibbs for the next few weeks until Chris McCaffrey comes back, hopefully that holds on, and then you can slide Pacheco back in when he gets back after McCaffrey is back, and then Puka will be back eventually. So survive these next few weeks and get guys playing. Brown for Gibbs I like that.
I think I'm okay with it as well. Just go heavy with the running backs and hopefully that they can help get you through this tough stretch. Shaheed is startable he's startable for sure at wide receiver. So you can he can maybe help you weather the lack of wide receiver availability that you have right now.
You got it.
Yeah, there we go. Words can be hard sometimes. But yeah, I mean, Puka's going to probably miss 2 months. Pacheco is going to miss 2 months. So
Puka 2 months, you think?
They said 5 to 7 weeks is what we're looking at, and it just feels like
what's AJ 2 to 3? You think?
That's a couple of weeks, so 2 to 3. So maybe we see him week 5. Actually, the Eagles have a week 5 bye, so they're for sure going to hold him out week 3 and week 4. So maybe week 6 is when we see AJ again. So you're going to not have AJ for 3 weeks.
Get Gibbs in there and get
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with getting Gibbs. I'm all right with it.
I think that's a savvy move, Nick.
I'm all right with that.
Not you, Nick Watts.
Yeah. I got you.
Curtis Murray. Curtis, how's it going?
Yeah. Oh, he was asking about acquiring White, but it sounds like he's got some things to sort through. You're thinking about moving off of Pittman.
Josh Allen, Brees Hall, Achane, Dobbins, Pittman, Godwin, Jason Brenthouse, Huntaman with Kincaid, Bowers. I think I want to move off Pittman for a better wide receiver. Any thoughts on who to target or who to move?
I mean,
if you can sell Pittman right now, like good luck, but he's not been doing anything.
Are you selling high on Bowers to try to get a wide receiver?
No, I'm not selling high on Bowers.
Because he has Kincaid. Because you're not going to get anything for Kincaid right now, but you could get a good wide receiver for Brock Bowers. The question is, do you want to
got it.
The question would be, do you want to do it? Godwin looks great. Smith and Jigba and Brian Thomas look like rock solid depth, but I don't know how consistent you can rely on them. I mean, if you're worried about Pittman, the move here to me is to look for like a sizable upgrade at wide receiver in exchange for Brock Bowers. You may not want to do that, but you're not going to get anything for Kincaid, who at least you still have to turn to if you were to consider moving off of Bowers and or ultimately doing it.
I was looking at something earlier today. I'm trying to find the on who to buy. I mean, if you could do Bowers for I would trade
could you get like a George Pickens for Bowers? Would you?
I was even going to shoot. I think you could, and I was even going to shoot for like an Olave.
Okay.
Because
Olave came back to life a little bit this past week.
Yeah, but he still isn't like doing it, and I think Olave owners are getting annoyed about Shaheed and
4 catches for 81 yards for Chris Olave this past week.
But Bowers has been killing it.
Bowers has been great. If you can get Chris Olave for Brock Bowers, I would do that.
The who to target question is always weird. I mean, most teams are going to need a tight end. So
most teams need a tight end. It's very specific to the you got to identify. You got to identify somebody who you can specifically help, and then it's who does that player have, or who does that team have? If there's somebody desperate for a tight end that you think would be willing to give you something rock solid for Brock Bowers, it's kind of like you got to go identify that team in your league and then work with them from there.
Most trades are not in a across the board smash, one side wins, one side loses. So there is nuance to trading. It's not as much Nick's trying to say here is it's not who to target player necessarily. It's who to target owner in your league. With tight end, it's going to be a little easier because there hasn't been many tight ends. But if Olave is with the George Kittle owner, you're probably not getting that done. Because if I have Kittle, I'm not going to trade away, my wide receiver 2 for another tight end.
Right.
So it's a guy I'm just saying Olave is maybe a good buy low. Chase is probably way too highly valued.
You're not going to get him. Yeah.
You're not going to get him, but look at. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate the Pickens thing. I like Pickens a lot better if Russ is playing.
Okay.
That's my problem is I don't like it. With Fields in there, it's just I think he's just limited to he's not going to, they still don't have a touchdown, right?
No, he did have to be fair to Pickens, I think he had a long touchdown called back because of a penalty. I think he had another long catch this past week called back because of a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're just missing. We're some penalties away from having a different conversation about Pickens, I would say.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, would you do Bowers for Pickens?
If I'm giving up Bowers and getting, I would maybe try to sweeten the pot a little bit, maybe get an extra piece, a depth piece, maybe a backup running back. But it's enticing because I just believe in Pickens. It would be enticing. But yeah, shoot for the moon. Get Olave if you can.
This team is good. I mean, it's not the
pieces are solid. The pieces are solid. You're not that far off.
Pittman's the big disappointment for sure.
Sure. No, but the team is solid.
Godwin's picking up the slack. Brian Thomas Jr. has been good. So, like, I'm not starting with this roster. I'm not – if it's 2-2 and a flex, Pittman's not on the starting roster. It's Hall, Achane, Dobbins, Godwin, and Thomas.
And then, Thomas or JSN at this point, pick your matchups. But Thomas is probably the guy that you would go to.
Yeah, move off. I would try to trade Bowers just because, like, he has more value than Kincaid, and I still like Kincaid. You get the stack with Allen, which Nick loves, and then which is good.
Stack.
I like shit on it a little bit, but like it's still good. And then, I don't think you're selling Pittman for anything, but like I get wanting to get a different wide receiver in there, upgrade. Look to see who owns a lot. I would shoot for Olave. Olave is the first guy I'm going for.
Whoever the top receiver is,
Pickens is a good one too.
The top receiver on a team in your league that needs a tight end.
I don't necessarily say top. Like, if they're not going to get Justin Jefferson,
who's
like
some top guy who maybe is underperforming and maybe could be some who could maybe have that league mate frustrated.
Sure, I just yeah.
How do you manage fob bidding? I would say the former here. I think it's better, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's better to be aggressive
early instead of thinking about saving your fob for the end.
Those are the guys that have value season long too, right? Like Kyron Williams, Puka last year.
Puka. Like
there's definitely other ones.
I mean, it's been a couple years, but Elijah Mitchell, when Raheem Mostert was still with San Francisco, and I think he picked up an injury. He was ruled. He picked up an injury week 1. Elijah Mitchell was a 6th round rookie. He was the big pickup week 1, and he had like a high end RB2 season.
Did he finish that, or was that the year that they traded for McCaffrey and then
that was the year later they traded for McCaffrey. Mitchell was their guy that year. He was in and out of the lineup with injuries, but when he played, he was a set and forget guy in your lineup. So like getting these guys early that's what you want to do. So you want to be aggressive tonight, if there's guys that you want. Don't be afraid to. If you're just like, I know I want this dude. These guys are maybe saying to spend $7, but I want to spend 15. Spend 15. Like spend your $5 now. Like hell.
That's why I'm saying
Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason this year was probably a dude that didn't get drafted in 10-team leagues, maybe even some 12-team leagues.
I think he was drafted more often than not.
10-team leagues, he might not have been like shallower leagues
for sure, but
12 teams, maybe he was already on a run. But let's put it this way, if he was on waivers after week 1 and you spent $55 on him, you don't care about those $55 now.
No.
Yeah. So like, it's better to be, generally speaking, it is better to be aggressive early as opposed to, well, I'm just gonna hoard it and wait until my opportunity week 13, week 14, when we don't even know if that's gonna happen.
Little side note with Fab or Fob, or I say Fab, but either way, Fab.
Tomato.
Yeah. The industry is shifting more and more towards like it being the predominant way of going. I don't know if it is majority yet, but just like a little pet peeve of mine is I see a lot of places now write just FAB. It stands for Free Agency Acquisition Budget. It's 2 A's. So Heavy, you got it correct here, but it's FAAB.
Yeah, you have it right. But some people are saying FAB now, and it's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. But be aggressive early, generally speaking.
Yep. Reed and Mason for Evans and Spears. I get Evans and Spears.
I'm saying no. You're giving up. You're giving up an RB. That drop off at running back is too steep.
But
I like Evans, but that drop off at running back is too steep. Spears, we were led to believe coming into the season that it was going to be a 50-50 split between Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, and that is not the case.
No, it's Pollard.
It's not the case. Pollard looks like to be the guy. I don't think it's serious, but Spears did pick up a minor injury this past week, so like even more so Pollard. It's too steep a drop off at this point. Mason is a top 10 running back, maybe top 12.
While McCaffrey's
out, and we're looking
at
that
wave.
Yeah, ride the wave. That's too steep of a drop off. No, hold Reed, weather the storm until Jordan Love comes back. Mason is such a significantly more valuable running back right now than Tajay Spears.
Yeah,
keep the guys that you have. Keep the guys that you have.
Just trade ETN and Shaheed for
Kamara.
Is that Kamara or is it?
It's got to be.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
It's good if he keeps doing it.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to have 4. Yeah, he's not going to have another 4 touchdown game in all likelihood.
Week 1 too,
in all likelihood. But he does look amazing right now.
Clint Kubiak loves using Kamara. Apparently.
They love getting him involved, and probably not any reason to believe that they're going to move off of that anytime soon.
I don't
especially with Kendre Miller on IR.
Who would you rather have rest of the year, ETN or Kamara?
Straight up, Kamara.
Yeah, so I'm fine with this trade.
Like Shaheed is off to a really strong start, but he
won't keep this up.
He's a boom bust guy, most likely.
I like how you put that in. Like we think.
we think.
That's what he has been, but so far
he's been hitting big time. He's been hitting big time these past couple of weeks.
Guys, AJ, and Justice. Boom.
Right. Boom. I'm fine with it as long as your wide receiver situation is okay. I hope it is, which is fair to bring up because so many receivers went down this past week. So if your wide receiver depth is fine, then yeah, I'm okay with the move. Just don't expect, I'm sure you're not, but just don't expect another 4 touchdown game from Kamara. Average a touchdown a game for the rest of the season. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair expectation to have for him. And the Saints offense looks really good right now.
Yep.
They're firing on all cylinders.
Jay's got another question for us. We'll do J2, I guess, first.
Could you get Addison instead of Spear? Don't trade Jordan. Don't trade Jordan Mason. Basically, is what I'm saying. Unless you are getting like
Jordan Addison, right?
Yeah. What other Addison? Yeah, no, because he's hurt too. He's hurt right now too. Like he's going to give you a 0 this week, whereas Mason is a locked and loaded RB1.
Yeah, you got to hold on to Mason.
And they're playing the Rams, who are absolutely cooked. Like Mason should have a strong week this week. I know we don't base trades off of just 1 week, but like Addison is a 0. Spears is probably close to a 0 this week, if not an outright 0. Mason is an RB1. Don't trade Jordan Mason. You can trade Jordan Mason if you're getting, I don't even think I'm being that facetious here. If you're getting Jahmyr Gibbs or Jonathan Taylor or, a Kyron Williams.
Doing that.
Exactly. That's my point. So just hold Jordan Mason.
I'm trying to think if there's a player. I'll think of it as we go. But
would you
if
give
there's
up
a guy that's realistic that I would give him up for,
like ETN? We just talked about ETN.
I would give him up for ETN. Yeah,
you would give up Mason for ETN.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if I would do that, but
ETN's the guy there.
Tank had 15 carries week 1. I like it, and I like ETN. I like ETN. Don't get it twisted. I think the only reason he didn't get involved for this past week was because he picked up an injury early in the game. My point is, this is the stratosphere that Mason has climbed into.
I'm not disagree.
Oh, no, I know. This is for everybody. My point is, Mason has reached new heights, and I don't want to sell him for anything less than another really strong.
This isn't like unprecedented, though. Like, this is Stan Fran's RB1. Like, we've seen this thing before.
Just play him.
I'm fine riding the wave. Don't try to be like, oh, how do I capitalize on his value right now? The way you do that is by getting the touchdowns and yards that he's giving you.
Oh yeah. Jay's got another. Oh, he's gonna just okay.
Should I try to trade Brian Robinson or Jacobs? They have Smith, Pickens. So Devonta Smith, Pickens, Worthy, and more.
There's someone with Mason, White, Warren, CMC, and Mostert. Do you? No, I'm not trading Brian Robinson. Would you trade Josh Jacobs to get Jordan Mason?
Oh, this is Jordan Mason?
It's good, yeah. But like if the person in your league has both Mason and McCaffrey, I can't imagine they want to break that up.
This is related to Isn't this he was talking about Tank Dell?
Yeah. I guess it's just like we were talking about Jordan Mason.
Oh, I got you saying Mason. What? Yeah.
Should I trade Brian Robinson or Jacobs?
I would rather have Jacobs than Mason. I would rather have Mason than Brian
Robinson. But Brian Robinson's been playing well. Or if you're trying to get one of these receivers.
Well, what are you trade? I'm confused. What you're trading? Oh, because they need a running back, I guess. Because White and Warren, I get what you're saying.
White and Warren haven't been good. Mason,
I understand now. I was confused. So I would trade Brian Robinson for Smith, and that's it.
That's it.
Jacobs, I'm not trading for any of those players.
Okay. You could dangle Brian. I agree. You could dangle Brian Robinson for Devontae Smith.
You're not going to get it.
I would be shocked if you did, but you can try. Brian Robinson, it's not like Brian Robinson isn't.
Don't be mad about it. Brian Robinson's been good. He'll continue being good, but he doesn't have the pedigree and to like get a guy like Devonta Smith. But value wise, it's probably a fair trade. It's just that the person that has Devonta Smith spent a 5th round pick, and the person with Brian Robinson, you probably spent like a 9th.
Yeah.
So.
And then J-Tube, you can, I mean, again, do what you believe in. I never want to deter somebody from doing something that they believe in, but like, I don't really think there's any reason to like.
Wait, I don't hate this
Jordan
trade.
Addison.
Hold on, if he needs receivers, I don't hate.
If you need receivers, Mason and Reed. Mason and Reed for Evans and Devontae Smith. Okay, now I'm a little more interested. He says, "No, I'm going to try to get Addison." Don't worry if it's a lot. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't work. I would Addison still not worry about Smith? Addison. I would not worry about Jordan Addison.
No, I don't. Jordan Addison isn't.
I think
he's overrated. I'm gonna say it. I'm not putting him on Gabe Davis level, but like he's Gabe Davis. There's this like weird thing with him last year. Like Jordan Addison is good. He
made some big plays like that were very.
He was opportunistic with Jefferson,
but they were very sporadic. If that makes sense.
He was opportunistic with Jefferson out. Like he's not going to get you like 1,200 yards and like 8 touchdowns. Like it's, I don't know what.
I think he had 10 last year, but a lot of them were like random broken plays. Like he made it happen, but I think he was a little fortunate last year. I think Jordan Addison had some solid luck last year.
Jefferson missed like half the season last year.
He did. He missed a lot of time. Mason and Reed for Evans and Devontae? I'm a little bit more bullish on.
Yeah, obviously, I would do that if you can.
Which is probably a fair offer because Mason again has a lot of value right now.
But I don't like this switching out Addison for.
No, don't like it. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Such a different conversation.
I wouldn't be going for Addison. I wouldn't be going for Addison. I'll let you take this one. How confident are you in Dobbins moving forward?
I love Dobbins.
Will's a big J.K. Dobbins guy.
I'm not an idiot either. Like if you have somebody that's like me, I'm not saying I would do this, but like if you have another Dobbins like lover in your league, that's like, I believe this whole time and he's finally doing it, and I didn't get him, and you can sell him high for like
real high.
Like, yeah, I mean, you got to be getting. If you're going running back for running back, like you got to be getting back like a top 15 guy, like
we'll go back to like ETN.
Would you rather have Dobbins or Mason rest of the season?
I might say Mason.
What if we knew for sure Christian McCaffrey plays week 6?
If we knew definitively that Christian McCaffrey was going to be 100% in a month, then yeah, I'd rather have Dobbins. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to be the case with McCaffrey. It sounds like his absence is going to be like even a little bit longer.
Confident in Dobbins moving forward. I guess he has to be considered injury prone, but like I hate that for like
every
guys.
But injury
I
prone.
Mean, he's playing great often.
He looks awesome.
Injury, so
he looks awesome. Tough matchup this week against the Steelers. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sell high, but if there's someone trying to buy high, like I'll listen. I mean, like there's plenty of like good receiver. Like if someone's frustrated with a good receiver, or a good running back that hasn't performed well, but like I'll tell you this, I believe in Dobbins enough and not this other guy enough where I'm not doing this trade. I would rather Dobbins than Garrett Wilson.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not a Garrett Wilson believer. I haven't seen it in 2 weeks. Rodgers been fine. They haven't been playing teams that like he shouldn't be like doing it against, but I don't think Garrett Wilson's that dude. All right. I know like I'm going to be like in the minority here.
You're going to ruffle some feathers with that one.
So that's how confident I am in Dobbins.
All right. So Will likes J.K. Dobbins. That is all that needs to be said about that. I mean, he looks really good right now, and he has been a dude with high expectations previously, so.
And he's doing it on like less than 15 carries a game. Like he doesn't need like.
Now he's doing it. So yeah, he looks good. He looks really good. I mean, you can flex him absolutely. Not maybe this week it's a tougher matchup, but I mean, moving forward, yeah, he looks good.
We got traded for running backs. I got Kyler, Saquon, White, Bucky, Tracy, Edwards. Rest of the squad is Kyler, Watson.
Drop Watson.
You just drop Watson, yeah.
Drop Watson and pick up another.
Pick Wilson, up Rice, Devo, JMO.
You lost Debo for a few weeks. You still have Wilson, Rashee Rice, who is probably your actual wide receiver one.
He is.
Not probably. He just is. JMO is rock solid. You have Saquon, but then
you could try to trade Demarcus Robinson and package
Rashad
White maybe to get like a Brian Robinson.
I was just going to say Brian Robinson.
Would you do Demarcus Robinson and Rashad White for Zach Moss? Or Rashad White for Zach Moss? Like I would do
White for Moss straight up at this point.
Yeah.
To get Zach Moss, I would do that straight up at this point.
Zach Moss, I like. We already said Brian Robinson.
Like a Devin Singletary.
Dobbins is going to be expensive at this point. Singletary's like lower than those two, but like he's there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's because you're playing those guys over Rashad White if they were on this team.
100%.
Yeah, I tried DeMarcus Robinson and Rashad White for Brian Robinson. See how that goes.
Yeah, see how that goes. And drop Watson outright for any.
You could drop Adonai Mitchell, drop Deshaun Watson, and go try to get Kareem Hunt and Steele. And like try to get one of those Kansas City backs while Pacheco's out. Yeah, that's another way to improve.
Backs. Yep, 100%. But yeah, see if you can like ride a small DeMarcus Robinson spike in value with Rashad White and see if you can get like a Brian Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah. Or someone in that tier, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, something like that, and then drop Watson and AD Mitchell for the Chiefs backs. Yeah. Heavy, I appreciate this question very much. I will keep this brief, but I appreciate that you think enough to ask the question at all. You could become a member if you're interested. I have 3 levels, starting with the lowest level being 99 cents a month, where you will get regular shout outs and priority answers to your questions. I get to members. We get to members their questions and or comments out of order, like priority order. I will go out of my way to make sure that my members get first crack at my responses as a perk of being a member of the channel, if you are feeling so inclined. But at the very minimum, if subscribing is always appreciated. Just following along on videos that we put out throughout the season. I host 3 to 4 live streams a week throughout the season, so just coming in, hanging out, engaging, with the other folks in the chat, with the, asking questions yourself, whatever you feel comfortable doing is very much appreciated. There are, again, memberships. There are details in the first link in the description of this stream and any pretty much recent video or all videos on the channel that will give a little bit more detail if you are feeling so inclined. But yeah, just joining the streams, liking the streams if you are enjoying the content. Is also great and much appreciated. So thank you for thinking enough to ask the question. Whatever you are most comfortable with.
You could also root for the Falcons on Sundays.
No. Now is basically almost almost 35 of your budget too much for Carson Steele. I would say yes, it is too much.
Picked up Kareem.
I would say it is too much
about it, but F them.
That is the type of mindset that we like around here. There are no friends when it comes to fantasy. We are all on an island against each other, competing for
that's funny
all the glory. So yeah, F them. I agree.
37 is too much for me.
So that's my point. On Sleeper, I'm pretty sure Kareem Hunt was probably just an auto add without having to go through waivers before he signed with the Chiefs. I don't know if Yahoo or ESPN do that.
Before the Monday night game, yes.
Yes. That's
but
what I'm
once
saying.
that game happens, everybody, no matter what, is waiver.
Did they? All right. Okay. I thought that the free agents who weren't on teams, you could just pick them
up.
No,
it triggers at the last game, then everybody's free agent or everybody's wavered. But technically, it would be like this guy didn't play yet, so he's free agent. But I think once that game kicks off or some point in there,
everyone's wavering.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Maybe. I thought the free agents, like the actual NFL free agents, were like fair game at any point. But
I just looked up Fournette. He's not. So
there you go. Okay. We got one more question on the chat.
Dobbins be my trade piece to improve my wide receiver room since I have Achane and Hall.
I would
if you can get a good wide receiver, sure.
But running back
put Achane and Hall above him. Yeah.
But running back depth dries up so fast. It's going to have to be a really good wide receiver to justify moving him because all it takes is one, knock on wood, hope it doesn't come to fruition at all. We always hope for 100% health for everybody, but this is football. We know that that's not going to happen. Depth dries up quickly in the NFL. And we all know this. It's just just want a reminder before you potentially move forward with trading running back depth without getting any in return.
Sure, but Nick, here, just real quick because it won't take long.
Sure,
receivers that you would trade Dobbins. If you would trade Dobbins to get this receiver, just say yes and otherwise no.
Sure.
Obvious ones that are yes. CD. Would you trade him for Tyreek right now with Tua?
Would I trade Dobbins for Tyreek Hill?
With Tua out?
Yes.
Okay. Amon-Ra, yes. Jamar Chase, yes. Justin Jefferson, yes. AJ Brown, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I said no to Garrett Wilson, but you're saying yes?
I think I would take Garrett Wilson. Yes.
London?
Yes.
Puka?
No.
Olave?
Yeah. I guess the fact that I have to think about it is enough of a I'm on the fence. I want to say yes, just because he was drafted so high. I want to say yes.
You can't look at that though.
I know, but that's something I lean on for the first couple weeks of the season.
Marvin
I think
Harrison,
I would.
Yes.
Cooper
Kupp's a no because of the injury.
Kupp and the Rams wide receivers are both no because it sounds like they're both going to miss significant time.
Yeah. Pittman, I'm saying no. Debo, no with the injury. Nico Collins, yes.
If I knew the definitive timeline to return for Debo and it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks or less, then I would say yes. But I don't trust the 49ers right now after what happened with Christian McCaffrey. So no is fine for Debo.
Nico Collins, yes.
I would acquire Collins, yes.
Yep. Adams?
Yes. Devontae's still a baller.
Mike Evans?
Yes.
Waddle?
No.
You'd rather Dobbins?
I'd rather have Dobbins. I think Tyreek I'll take, but Waddle, I think Waddle's going to be the one that really takes the hit.
Ayuk?
No.
DJ Moore?
One for one, probably not.
Malik Neighbors?
I would take Neighbors, yeah.
Devonta Smith.
Yes.
Metcalf.
That's interesting. He popped off in a game where I was expecting him to struggle in a bad matchup. I just got done a little while ago saying Geno's playing well. Yeah, I think I would take Metcalf. Yeah.
And then just a couple more that I think are yeses. Rashee Rice.
Rice, yes.
Pickens.
I would see if I could get an additional piece because Pickens has been off so far. But if I could get Pickens plus for Dobbins, I could be enticed to saying yes. 1-for-1, maybe not.
Godwin, yes.
I would want Godwin. Yeah, he looks great.
And I think that's pretty much it. So you're looking at like 15-ish receivers over him.
Yeah. Anybody else, I would say probably not at this point.
Yeah. I'm looking at the rest of the like. So, yeah, I mean,
kudos to Dobbins for creating this value for himself because that's where
correct.
we're at.
But the point is, what Nick's saying is like I have even less because I'm taking out Wilson. Pickens is a no for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's about 15 receivers you would do it for. So like, if you can, go ahead. But like, it's not like you're doing this for, a bunch of like, there's not like a whole slew of guys you're doing this for.
Sure. So this is a follow-up about what to do, like how to improve the team and grab a receiver. This, I think he has Kincaid and Bowers.
Guys that could use Bowers options. London, Collins. So I'm just going to say yes or no. Like I would trade Bowers for this player. London, yes. I think London's tricky, and I know I'm biased, but like I think Kirk looked better game 2, and I think we're going to see more and more. Like it was weird because London's entire value in that game came at the end with that touchdown, but like,
right, yeah,
he was still the guy they went to in the red zone. He beat Slay in a route. Like the guy's very good. It's just like I think Kirk didn't trust his foot too much week 1. Week 2, they were doing play action, and so, like, I think we're going to see the offense develop a little bit as the season goes on. So, like, if you can – I like that he scored. It's a shame he didn't – that he did in the sense of, like, you probably could have bought low on him if he did. Maybe you still low. Can. But Collins, 1,000%.
Collins, yes. If you can get Collins for Bowers.
I'm so high on Collins.
100%.
He's so good.
Worthy's
really a no. Cooper's a no. Amari Cooper, assume.
Amari Cooper's a no. Xavier Worthy's a no.
Be a no too.
Or
option 2 is got Neighbors. Yes.
Neighbors would be a yes. I would say Mike Evans would be a yes.
Reed's a no.
Reed is a no. Unless you can get an additional piece. If you could get Reed plus, for me, you're still a no.
Plus what? Well, yeah. Why am I'm giving the best player in the deal for Reed plus what's the piece?
What would be the piece? Okay.
Rashid Shaheed? Like I'm not doing that.
I'm thinking from the perspective of Love should come back sooner than later.
If Love is back, I'm not doing that trade.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. That's why Reed plus. I'm not unopposed, but I guess what the plus is would be
yeah, question. But I'd have to believe like the plus thing for me comes into play if it's like are you like he didn't need depth.
True.
Right?
You don't need depth. You're not, you're just looking for an upgrade at wide receiver, and you're the one with the depth at tight end. Yeah. Okay, fine. I agree. Bowers for London. I would take London. I would take Collins. I would take Neighbors, and I would take Evans.
Yep.
Not Worthy, not Cooper, and I'm okay with passing on Jaden Reed as well. Let's see. Javonte and Dowdle worth dropping for the waiver grabs this week.
You can answer Javonte. Dowdle is a yes for me.
See, Dowdle's a no for me. Dowdle's a hold, continues to be a hold because I know that the situation is gross, which is not totally unexpected. Zeke got in there, Deuce Vaughn got in there, but Rico, I think, led the backs in snaps and touches. Not much to be said for what that translated to.
He led snaps 43 to Zeke's 40, so it's basically even.
Okay, so that's a wash.
And then rushes was 7 to 6, receptions 4 to 2, targets So yeah, he had 12 opportunities to Zeke's 9, but he turned that into 20 59 yards.
It wasn't a lot.
They're not going to be running the ball.
Yeah, they're not
like. What are you hoping for? Drop him. Like if that's who you have, I would drop him for my lottery ticket on the Kansas City guy.
You would drop Rico for Kareem Hunt or Carson Steele.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would drop him for them. I would drop him for Braylon Allen. I would drop him for
Jalen Wright.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
What are we hoping Rico Dowdle is? Like realistically.
You're hoping that I guess he separates himself enough from Ezekiel Elliott where.
Are you hoping he's like Devin Singletary? Like
No.
So like what are we holding out for? If he's not, he's not going to be a guy. He's not going to be
for like an
RB2. He will randomly this week, but like not where you're starting him. Even if Zeke gets hurt.
If anything happened to Zeke, I mean, then.
But then like that's the same thing you could say for any of these guys. And if it happens to Zeke, like what Dowdle is fine, but like if Breece Hall goes down, Braylon Allen's a stud.
Is a top 15 option. Yeah.
Yeah. If Miami, if Achane goes down, Wright is potentially like, give me the shot on that upside. Pacheco already did go down. Like, give me a shot that it is Kareem Hunt or Carson Steele. That's my mentality. Like Dowdle, okay. Like what are we hoping? Like you didn't draft Dowdle to like. I mean, you drafted him like hopefully he was something, and like we're kind of seeing he isn't. And
he's kind of is what he is.
Dallas is having a real committee of both mediocre players. So like, all right, move on.
All right, that's fair.
Javonte is tough. I'll let you answer that.
Javonte is tough because on one hand, you do have a little bit more faith in him to be more than what we just talked about Rico Dowdle, but he might even look worse than Rico Dowdle right now. I hate to say it with Javonte, but I'm starting to fear that torn ACL that he suffered in 2022 maybe ended things for him because it was a major injury. I think he suffered a torn MCL and LCL as well, in addition to the ACL when he went down. I think it was like week 4 or week 5 of 2022. Yeah. I hate to say it because I was such a Javonte guy when he got drafted. Did that injury like sap his athleticism or his ability to create? It's possible. I mean, the dude averaged what 1.5 yards a carry last week. I know that the Steelers have a good defense, but they were at home. He had 5 catches for almost 50 receiving yards. So that was good. Like, that's solid. But, like, you're not drafting Javonte Williams hoping that he gets you 8 points. Like, you're drafting him as a value running back hoping that he can get 12 points.
Right.
I think I'm giving him one more week.
Yeah, I'm not drafting
against Tampa Bay, but he is a bench. He's a guy on your bench. He is firmly on your bench. He is firmly not in consideration for your starting lineup. And we probably are a week or 2 away from moving on from Javonte. I can't quite do it yet, but come back to me in a week's time, and we might have to revisit this conversation. I will concede Dowdle is fine to move on from if you want to get Kareem Hunt or Carson Steele. Yeah. Curtis, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And thank you for Captain Joe King, whatever, or not whatever, but hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Appreciate the kind words. And thank you for subbing. So you sold
Flowers and Worthy for.
I like that.
I know pretty bold. I just feel like he's a better version of Laporta. Opinions. I have Kyle.
You have Kyle Pitts, who continues to be up and down.
I'm still hopeful that the offense continues to evolve and the passing game gets better. But it's frustrating.
It is. I don't hate. I mean, I don't know who your other wide receivers are. I've not been a big Zay Flowers guy this year just because I thought he was too expensive. He did well, and he caught a touchdown week 2. He looks, he's a good player. Zay Flowers is a good player. I just didn't like him at his cost this year. Worthy, I think, was fine to maybe take a sell high shot on after his week 1.
I
don't hate it. I don't hate the move. We've just been done talking about how good Bowers looks and how he is a potential sell high candidate, but that means that he's playing well. So I don't mind the shot on him.
Where do you think he is in? Don't look season tight ends so far
through 2 games. Where is Bowers rank among tight ends?
Not moving forward. I'm saying how many
what he has done.
Yeah,
it's got to be top 3.
It's third.
It's 3.
And ahead of him is Isaiah Likely, who only had the blow up the first week.
He had a huge week 1, but he didn't do much week 2.
And Kittle, who's what we've been referencing, is the only other top tight end that's been performing. And then,
which should continue with no Debo.
And then Bowers, who is consistently, he was tight end 5 or better. He was a tight end 5 and then tight end 4 last 2 weeks.
Dude, he already looks so good. Yeah,
he's got 2 more targets. He's got more targets than any other tight end.
Yeah,
he just didn't. He hasn't gotten in the end zone. He's more receiving yards,
and that'll happen,
and targets, and catches. He's leading tight ends in receptions, yards, targets. He just doesn't have a touchdown yet.
I don't know who your other wide receivers are, but if you're set at wide receiver, if you were not a victim of all of the wide receiver injuries that have occurred over the past couple of weeks, and there have been a lot, plus the Dolphins wide receivers and their significant drop off in quarterback situation. If you are not affected by any of that and your wide receiver situation is steady, I'm good. I'm good with it.
Yeah, you got to throw. I know you're talking about where guys are drafted. I personally throw draft capital out the window at this point for players because it's all right, it changes so much. Flowers was what, a 4th or 5th round pick, and Bowers was probably a 9th or 10th.
Yeah,
who cares? Bowers move. I think moving forward the rest of the season, it's probably Kincaid. Kittle, and me that Laporta maybe, but we've seen Bowers doing it. He's top 5 for sure.
I think I like the move without knowing your other wide receivers. I think I like the move. And then whatever, if Pitts bounces back and has a couple nice games, you could sell high on him, recoup a wide receiver, and then just move forward with Bowers.
Yeah.
I think I like the move. I'm good with it. I'm good with it.
Shakir, viable wide receiver 2. I'm really thinking.
I like Shakir, but a wide receiver 2.
I wouldn't want that.
I would prefer to have somebody a little bit more proven ahead.
Yeah, I think he's the guy in Buffalo, but that's not necessarily
it's not going to always
spread the ball around a lot, and it's the Josh Allen show a lot of times, and James Cook we just saw as a huge part of that offense. So I don't he very well could be, but I'm not comfortable with that situation.
Yeah. I guess you're probably hurting. It's possible you're somebody who is hurting from the fallout of all the wide receiver injuries that have happened recently. Are you strong at running back? Do you run 4 deep, 5 deep at running back? Can you trade your 4th or 5th option for for another wide receiver?
Yeah,
it's try to get creative with take a position of strength that you may have and turn that into a little bit more stability where you might be weak somewhere else. So if you're stout at, maybe you've got 2 good tight ends, maybe you have Bowers and another piece, sell high for a strong option at wide receiver. Or if you're stout at running back, move your third or fourth option for a wide receiver 2, like an actual wide receiver 2. I agree. I like Khalil Shakir. I think he's a good player. Just don't know if the consistency is going to be there for you to consider him a week-to-week wide receiver 2.
Yep.
Yeah. We are at the end of the chat, so we will be wrapping this one up here shortly. But thank you all so much for your engagement today. If you have any other follow-up questions, if you just miss us, just post your question in the form of a comment on the stream, and we will be sure to get to it. You can also join the Discord if you want to join over there and have questions over there. Second link in the description of this live stream and all of the streams and videos on the channel. We will be back. I will be back Thursday. Well, I'm not sure if you're available. I'll be back Thursday ahead of the Thursday night football game, 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you're between some options for the Thursday night game, that's when we can really kind of start the start-sit conversation. And then, of course, any other trades or general questions that you may have, I will be there. I will be around leading up to the Thursday night game. And then I, of course, have my start-sit streams on Saturday and Sunday when we can really get into start-sit help. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right up to kickoff or for a bit of time before kickoff, just to finalize any last-minute thoughts and questions there. But thank you, everybody. Thanks to Will for joining on today and helping talk shop. Appreciate everybody's patience and engagement. Have a good evening. Best of luck with your waiver claims, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.